3, 4.
My name is Sam, and that's not all. I got a pretty good show with my good friend Paul. So listen up to the chairman of the board. I talk to him and he talks to me. We talk a lot of shit, but you get it for free. So don't complain, these gadgets cost a lot. So now we're at the end of the song, and everybody knows what's going on. So here we have the chairman of the... Yes, we have the chairman of the board. Because we're bored.
Woohoo!
Hello. We're actually streaming, Sam.
Yeah, that looks great.
Something's happening.
That should be fine.
Stop streaming. Oh, yes, we are streaming, Sam.
Excellent.
Hello.
Right.
So we're live.
We are. How's it going, everyone? You can't really answer that. It's sort of a rhetorical question, but...
Well, they can through the media
How's
connections we've got, Sam.
Oh, we're not selling stuff already, are we, Paul?
Yes.
This is really early on to be selling stuff. You can...
You can download our single. It's 30 seconds long.
Yeah, we thought we'd try and make it that a little bit more official by having a intro. I thought it went well.
I think it did.
It's a bit strange, you know, that we chose to go country.
It
was
just was kind of what happened with it, Sam. It wasn't a conscious choice.
When all you have is an acoustic guitar and you're trying to write a silly little jingle, it's kind of all you can do.
Well,
isn't it?
originally it was power metal, like.
That's it. We wanted
That's
a
true.
Tenacious D type kind of thing. That didn't work out so well.
So here we are, acoustic and country,
Yep.
and we're going.
So we should be broadcasting fine. This is our first podcast. We did a test podcast just to make sure that YouTube would allow us to record the full 2 hours. That test podcast came out very glitchy though. So this, if there's any problems, if you want to comment us, let us know. See if there's something that we can adjust. If the volume is not quite right, let us know, because
or just turn your volume up on your computer.
Yeah. Or
Right.
just fuck off. No, but what's that?
I can see.
Ah, that's good.
Right,
Okay, so
here.
at least we are being broadcast. So, Paul,
Yes, Sam.
how's it going? Are you
I
excited?
don't know how we started, Sam. I felt very nervous, but I don't know what I was nervous about. I was sitting eating a burger 2 minutes ago, and I couldn't enjoy it. And you kept testing things, and I was like, "Fucking hell!"
It's real. It's real.
Every time
We're
I heard you
going
play
live.
the theme song, I was looking at the clock, checking my phone, and I'm like, "Fucking, what time is it?"
No,
But-
it's exciting though. I mean,
is.
this is like, it's a podcast. How many people have a podcast?
Well, I'm a veteran, Sam.
Okay, you do have a podcast. That's,
well,
that's,
it
that's
wasn't
fair
very
enough.
successful. We've had about 6 episodes in the span of 6 months.
Well, then you shouldn't be nervous. You should be used to this. You should be an old hat. at
But
this.
it's weird because when we originally done the podcast, we did it off our phone, so we recorded it via a phone, and we just went basically and sat in the car and recorded it. And now we're here, and we've got gadgets and gizmos left and right. There's a mixing desk sitting next to me. I've got a webcam pointed at me with a light on it, and I can see us on the computer. We've got iPads, we've got cables, we've got headphones, we've got mics.
Yeah, it's a nice little setup.
Oh yeah, I know. But and it's still weird that
No, I
thing
know
of
what you
sitting
mean.
across from
It's a different
somebody.
experience from just
Yeah.
recording your voice into phone. The other thing as well is, with your podcast you were putting up, it wasn't. I don't think it was live, was it?
No, it
And
was
see,
just we
this
put
is
it
like-
just up to iTunes.
This is like a bit of a different sort of feeling, I imagine, because this is, as we say, this is live and people can message in.
I do hope people do start to message in. Like, I think the Twitter will be good. Like, we've got no followers on Twitter, like literally 3. So because I think the Facebook thing's very like me and you are personally sharing it. So everybody's like, oh, like Sam and Paul are doing a podcast, so they see it and they like it and that. Share it, by the way. Nobody shared it.
The thing is, though, I don't know. I mean, obviously Twitter's popular, but
Yeah,
I never used Twitter.
no, neither did I.
No,
I've no fascination with it.
I actually found it quite hard to kind of get to grips with.
Sorry, that's distracting me.
But no, I find Twitter kind of confusing. I'm not very good at it. So I don't blame people for not following us on Twitter.
Aye, I think it's good in the sense of like if you've got a voice, it's easy to just say things and it goes out to a lot of people. But if you're like speaking to like not a lot of people, like what, like I had my own personal one and I don't use it anymore. There's like it's just the same as Facebook in a sense, but except you're limited in what you can say, and that fucking hashtag thing annoys me, Sam. That just annoys. See when people say it. Why?
Oh, I saw one on today on the news. Oh, someone said one. I can't remember. It was some really cheesy. Like, just dropped it into conversation, but it was like on the news. Like,
Like a newsreader, or like somebody they were interviewing.
Yeah, it was something like they were talking about the Brit Awards or the music thing. And they were talking about One Direction or something, and they said #awkward or something like that. And I'm like, horrible. On the fucking news, and it's like, that's not a real thing. People aren't going to go.
And like real news.
Yeah, it was on. It was Sky, I think it was Sky News.
Fucking hell! Like, see, that's bad when you see something like that. It annoys me. Like that E News, like E Entertainment News. Like they're all mental.
No, it's fair enough if it's like, I mean, if you're advertising something or like the big debate shows will have, like, you know, if you want to join in the conversation, go to Twitter and #whatever, and you can tweet us and all that stuff. That's fair enough, because that's you're engaging your audience and all that stuff, and that makes sense. But using it as a sort of #awkward, like, no one's typing #awkward, what's this about One Direction, you know?
I know.
Like, she was just using it as a sort of thing. Now again, that would be alright if it was just sort of I don't know, like on 8 out of 10 Cats or something, but like on the news, you just don't expect that. Like, it's a bit.
It is funny. I don't know if
I have a problem with it.
I have a huge problem with it, Sam.
But anyway, so we were thinking about how we're going to start the show, and I think we were going to go.
Where are you going, Sam?
I tried to. My way of preparing for this was I was going to like go through the news and see what was interesting.
I was going to do the same as well. I never as well. But Sam, there's a thing that I seen in the news today that I was like, Sam will have something. Well, maybe you won't have anything to say about it because it's not like a thought-provoking thing. You're like, no fucking way. I disagree with that. But Viscera died today.
Oh yeah, I did see that.
Did you see that?
Well, I didn't see it actually. Hazel told me.
I seen it on like somebody posted up. Like I knew him as Viscera, but like somebody was using off kind of funny names for him, and I was like, who the fuck is he?
For people who don't know, so Viscera is a professional wrestler. Viscera,
he's a mad looking guy.
The character he played, he's an absolutely, I don't know, beast. Like, he's huge.
I remember he used to wear that big PVC fucking overcoat. Like, there wasn't any shape to him.
No,
he looked like a Dalek or something, like a big. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was so weird.
He looked like a bloody fat Darth Vader.
With did not have like a bleach
the yellow,
and fucking weird eyes.
Yeah,
he was a weird looking guy.
But before that, he played a character called Mabel. I'm not even sure what Mabel's gimmick was, but he was basically just loud and sort of, I don't know. He wore this. It wasn't a PVC thing, but it was a sort of big jumpsuit, this big purple and yellow jumpsuit. And
like tight.
No, it was kind of baggy. Yeah, I don't think you could get. Well, I was going to say I don't think you could get anything tight for him, but and I think everything would be tight on him.
Everything would be tight, surely, even that fucking big coat. That's true, actually. Everything would be tight.
Yeah, it's kind of mad. He's dead. He's gone. There's so many wrestlers dying. There's a thing. I mean, obviously wrestlers have to go through the whole, like, you know, a lot of them were taking steroids to try and get bigger and all that stuff, and that kind of supposedly leads to all these heart problems, and that's the reason why they're dying. But I mean, they're obviously, although we all know wrestling's fake, don't worry, you know, but it is a hard job that someone's doing. Hard. That obviously the body takes a toll, and maybe there's something there as to why all these wrestlers are having short lifespans. But if there's a weird thing, I can't remember which one it is, but if you go back to one of the WrestleManias, it's like WrestleMania 5 or something like that, there's something crazy, like 80% of all the wrestlers that are on that show, they're all dead now.
Oh my god.
And not from old age, like, you know, WrestleMania wasn't that long ago, but just from, I don't know, drug problems, heart problems, because a lot of them are taking pills to go to sleep, taking pills to wake up, they're on the road all the time.
Nutsy.
Yeah.
And I think it's like you're saying about like a lot of them, like the older ones, like or like there's a lot of them, the 80% kind of death thing. But do you know that way that they make comebacks and stuff like that, like Rowdy Roddy Piper, like appeared years ago and stuff. I know, but I wasn't saying that. But like Rowdy Roddy Piper, like kind of made a comeback kind of thing. Like he would appear in like special things, and then so did like Shawn Michaels and stuff like that. Like what if and they're obviously for their generation they're huge characters, and like Hulk and stuff like that. You know what I mean? But what if about like 20 years down the line, like you've got fucking like all the big names are back in it, like as comebacks, like you've got Stone Cold and The Rock and Kane and fucking Undertaker somehow still there.
No, do you know what I mean? It'll be like way in the future. It'll be the ones that are come back. It'll be like Randy Orton and John Cena. It's like, oh my god, John Cena comes back. And everyone still won't care. They will.
I know.
But it's weird actually, because there's so many wrestlers that have died over the years because of you know, these problems, that I've actually become quite desensitized to it. Like,
just wrestlers dying.
Yeah, like I'll hear about a wrestler died, and I'm just kind of like, well, you know, the first time that, you know, when you start hearing all this wrestler dies, you're like, fuck, that's crazy, you know, because I'm just watching them on like TV, and then it just happens so much that now I'm just kind of like Hazel woke me up. Oh, apparently Viscera died. I'm like, oh, okay. Like,
she's not obviously sensitive to it because she's like losing sleep over
she
it.
doesn't know who they are.
She's like, fucking wake up, son, wake up. Viscera's dead. You're like, another one. Turn back over.
She thinks, oh, wrestlers died, I'll be interested. And I mean, you know, I guess it's a shame.
I thought the same thing, Sam.
But, you know, I don't know. I suppose.
And Macho Man Randy Savage, he had that. Did he not die in a car crash?
Oh, there was a weird thing about that. No, supposedly he was in a car, but I think they linked it to some sort of heart failure.
Oh, right.
That then I don't know if the car crashed, but I think they linked it to heart failure. I'm not really sure.
Oh,
I feel stupid whenever we talk about stuff that I'm not really sure about, because I feel like people are expecting some sort of authority on this, you know. Like they'll go Google and be like, he didn't die in a fucking car crash.
I know.
This fucking guy in the pot, gets his facts right.
You're not Wikipedia.
No.
I tell you about ages ago, I seen on something on Facebook. Somebody posted like, fucking Ric Flair's dead. I don't know if I told you about this. I think I told a lot of people when I seen it. They're like, Ric Flair's dead. And I was like, fucking Ric Flair's dead, right? I went and looked it up and like put in the date and all that kind of stuff, and like nothing came up. And I was like, surely something would come up. But something else came up about this death like a couple of years ago. I was like, what the fuck's this? And I went in, and apparently like Ric Flair had died like years before this had happened. Like this was like last year I heard this rumour about Ric Flair dying. I was like, fucking Ric Flair dead. So I looked up, and then it was like, oh, like in 2009 Ric Flair like, found dead in a hotel room, and I was like, what? He's not dead, right? So I fucking like looked into it. There was like loads of Ric Flair death conspiracies.
Aye.
And I was like, such a fucking weird thing that like he's just plagued by death, like that's his thing. Like he's just plagued by death and conspiracies.
Well, there's always like, you always get these rumours like to do with celebrities. Ric Flair, I'll tell you about. I mean, again, sorry, I don't have all my facts in front of me. Supposedly he was in a plane crash, right?
Aye.
There was some sort of accident with the plane anyway, and he was like really badly injured, but he survived. And this is why, if you ever see, for the few people out there that are watching this that actually watch wrestling or are interested in wrestling, if you ever see Ric Flair landing on his back, he always turns to the side. He's always got like a funny way that he lands, and supposedly that's to do with
the plane crash.
I don't want to say he broke his back, or he like, I think he broke something, and he was kind of like, he shouldn't be doing what he's doing. He shouldn't be wrestling.
But even at that age, he shouldn't be wrestling.
Oh yeah,
even
just at his age, I don't even know, 60, 70.
That's
he must
crazy.
be older.
He can't wrestle now. He won't wrestle now, will he?
I'm not sure. Well, supposedly he retired. I think Shawn Michaels beat him in a retirement match, kind of thing. But then, I mean, this is wrestling. He then went to a different company, and I think he was wrestling there. So,
but then Shawn Michaels must be getting on as well.
It's not like in I don't know, another sport like football, you know, where someone like Messi's going to have his retirement match, and then at the end of the match everyone's applauding for him, and then he goes to fucking a different country or something like that, and he's playing for LA Galaxy, and he comes out, he's like, you know, he's come back, yeah, like John Cena.
Fucking really weird.
But the weird thing, like, you have all these people start these rumours about, like, you know, supposedly someone's died and all that stuff. But you see about Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Aye.
So there was a rumour. I keep saying I need to stop that. I keep saying supposedly because I'm worried everyone's going to like think everything I'm saying is factual.
Aye.
And criticise me on it. No, but it's Philip Seymour Hoffman. There was a rumour started about him having died.
Right.
And it was like a week before he actually did die.
Really?
And so there was this rumour, and everyone's like, fucking hell, you know. And I remember when he actually did die, I was on Facebook, and like people were posting things and writing like hoax, you know, because a couple of days before it was a hoax.
Really? I missed that.
Whereas then he actually died, but people still thought it was the hoax.
I missed that, Sam. I never knew that.
Yeah, kind of crazy.
That'd be quite weird, eh?
It was quite weird.
I keep saying that as well. That was quite weird.
What was the other thing? No, I was trying to have a look through the news to see if there was anything that I could sort of bring up to you, but I didn't really have much time today. And But I did see one thing. Edward Snowden,
the WikiLeaks guy.
No. Edward Snowden is the guy that he leaked all the documents on the PRISM program. I think it's called PRISM program.
No.
It's the NSA.
Right.
How they're using phones and whatever else to spy on everyone. This was like he leaked all the documents to show that, and apparently he was involved in doing it. I mean, he had access to all this stuff anyway. So he exposed that people are actually spying on us. It's no longer conspiracy. And so I think he moved to Russia to try and get sort of
so he could get like kept by the, what's that word?
The embassy.
Aye.
But I read a thing today. Supposedly, here's that word again. Allegedly, he's, I don't know if it's 100% or whatever, but he's offered a job, or he's going to be taking a job as the university. What's the word? Rector.
Yeah. Or like the dean, I think they call it in the university.
Of Glasgow.
Really?
Yeah. That was the thing I read.
Aye.
And I thought, I don't know, is that real? Is that right? How would that even work? Like,
why would he do that?
I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Maybe he's hard up for cash and he's the money. He's like, all right, I'll take any job. Rector. Oh, I'll take it. Glasgow. Oh, okay. I don't know what's going on. I don't know.
I never heard that either. That's a bit of a mad one, Sam.
Yeah. So, you again, that was fresh off the
news. I was having a quick look through HuffPost there, and I didn't really see anything, to be honest. I've not really heard any crazy. There's all these riots and that going on in Kiev, but I seen a picture of it actually before. So I remember we were talking about George Zimmerman.
I
just seen his name there.
Oh yeah, I say a thing about him. Supposedly he's bankrupt.
Right. This is kind of on topic. I've got another thing that I was going to talk to you about ages ago. Right, and I think this is actually quite mad. Let me find it. I need to go into my Facebook, and I've saved it. Right, what do you know about North Korea, Sam?
North Korea is a crazy fucking place.
Fucking is, eh? Right, so
I'm always hearing stories about North Korea.
I don't know if that's sarcasm.
No. If you look into there's all these stories about what's the one that's running now? Kim Jong
Un. Aye.
And Kim Jong Il, or is it Kim Jong or Kim Jong? We'll just say John.
Un is running the new, and before it was Kim Jong Il.
So he apparently has all these stories of these sort of like mini miracles that he accomplished, and this is all. You know about this?
Well, I've heard bits of it. Aye.
So like,
and they treat him as like a god.
Can we Google some of these?
Aye, sure. You Google it, and I'll just see what I was going to say.
We need to read out some of these for if people haven't heard these. And this is what's crazy about it is like the people of North Korea actually believe
they don't have a religion. Like their lead. It'd be like if we didn't have like a religion in this country, like we would worship like David Cameron or the Queen. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. It would be like that equivalent to.
Well, see, that's North Korea often gets cited as like an argument against atheism because they say, well, look at North Korea. If we didn't have a religion, we'd and you Stalin, Pol Pot. You look at all these sort of atheist regimes, right? So they look at North Korea and they go, but the thing is, North Korea doesn't have a sort of a god that you can't see, that there's like this big doctrine behind or anything like that, but they do have their sort of worship, their equivalent of a religion, and it's in their leader. The dad of Kim Jong Il, who
he's like the biggie.
Yeah, I can't remember his name either.
It's in this article, so I'll see if I can quickly thing me through. Well,
he is.
Have a look.
See, Kim Jong Il they call the great leader.
Yes.
Because. Is that right? No. I may have the other way around. I think he's one of them's the president, one of them's the great leader, whatever one it is, and the position can't be changed because even though it's the Kim Jong Il's dad, right? So the granddad of the current one.
Kim Il Sung is his name.
Yeah, he is. Does it say there is either great leader or?
Aye, the great leader. That's what it is.
Yeah. So like that's title that can't be changed because although he's dead. He's still held up as being no one can replace him. And so that's the equivalent of...
He is the god, and
of
like the other ones are like, he's like the god, this Kim Il Sung guy, and then the Kim Jong Il and the Kim Jong Un, they're like the Jesuses.
Yeah,
That's what they're like.
Jesus
the
and his little brother.
Yeah,
Craig.
But imagine if they had like some kind of, I don't know, they've got like some idiot brother or something, and they just shoo him away. I think they actually did they not?
There was, well, his uncle, just that was a thing as well. His uncle, Kim Jong Un. See, this is going to get confusing. Kim Jong Un, the one who's running it just now.
It's even more confusing because we're telling them and we don't even know the fucking name, Sam.
Yeah, if we were more, yeah. But Kim Jong Un, he supposedly sentenced his uncle. And I don't know, that might not have been, I don't know, it was his uncle, but I don't know if it was an uncle once removed or whatever. I don't know if that was the brother of Kim Jong-il or whatever, but he sentenced him to death.
Aye, they've got like weird concentration camps and stuff over there.
But he didn't just kill him though, he like had him eaten to death by dogs or some shit like that. Now see, I'm thinking now, is that right? It sounds too crazy to be right, but I'm pretty sure it's right.
That country's that's like, see this article, like I was going to, I'll read you obviously once you've thing with your stuff, but it's crazy, man.
There was also supposedly another son.
Mm-hmm.
So Kim Jong-il had at least 2 sons, and Kim Jong-un is the younger.
Mm-hmm.
So the older one, you're like, well, what happened to him? Because he should take the place of the leader, but supposedly, or the president or whatever they call it. But supposedly he kind of had enough of it or whatever, and he's I don't know where he is, maybe living in America or something like that. You know, he's just totally.
Maybe he's in like the Batman jail, like the big one down in the ground, where where Bane was. Or was Bane in the jail? Like the big fucking hole.
He's in exile.
Aye.
He's in exile.
That's where all the uncles and cousins and that are.
Right, so I've got some stories here about Kim Jong-il. He was born under a double rainbow.
What?
According to Kim Jong-il...
these are the legends.
Yeah.
Right, okay. I thought you were telling me facts.
Well, but
you didn't say supposedly.
But this is the thing. One sec. Yeah, according to the people in North Korea, this is gospel. This is just, that's what you ask any of them, they'll, swear by it kind of thing. So I don't know. One sec. I'm gonna have to move this thing. If you want to read out the double rainbow, or
right, okay.
There's a couple of them there.
Right. I'm just going to take it off the stand. Alright. The double rainbow. Where are we? What? I'm not actually sure I'm looking at the right page. Oh yeah, sorry. I just seen the headline, he loved water slides. He was born under a double rainbow. According to Kim Jong-il's official biography, he was born in a secret military camp in the Baekdu mountain during North Korea's Japanese occupation, and his arrival was prophesied by a double rainbow and marked by the sight of a new star. See, that's even like this, the sight of the star, that's even like Christianity type stuff. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like they really do, like it is idolised, but I think of it a lot. It's like they're told that that's what they're believing. Like they don't really choose to believe it. And according to like the Soviet the Russians of the truth, he was born in a Siberian village of a name I can't pronounce in 1941. The second headline, Sam, is he loves water slides.
Well, see, that's probably true.
There's photographic evidence of this one, Sam. Recently take imagery. There's like a picture of his house. Look at the fucking like water slides. It's like Spaghetti Junction.
Oh wait a minute. See, this is unfair because no one can.
Aye.
No one listening can see.
I'm sure we can see if we had Twitter. We could tweet the link.
Yeah. Okay, we'll do that.
Right. If we get more Twitters, more followers on Twitter, we'll tweet these links. Right.
Yeah.
Have you finished thumping about, Sam?
I think so. So I had to sort something there. Okay. So what else have we got? Yeah. Fucking.
He loves
double
water
rainbow.
Slides.
He loves water slides. I feel like we need to speed this up because we've been talking about Kim Jong-il for quite some time now.
It's like but if I'm sitting in the house, we'd be like, right, no, we've talked about wrestling too long.
Some of these are kind of crap. He was afraid of flying. Alright.
He was afraid of flying.
Yeah, he was.
And what happened?
He kidnapped short people.
Him personally?
Nah, he probably would have.
He would have had a man.
I don't know. He doesn't. He is a short person. Is he talking? He kidnapped short people.
There must have been smaller people. Like he was like afraid of getting I don't know, like afraid of being seen different, so everybody that was smaller than him.
Oh,
no,
wait a minute.
He surely would have captured tall people then to make him look tall. He would just made him taller.
That's true.
It's fucking batshit crazy.
Maybe he thought there was a certain like evilness to looking really small, and I don't know.
That's fucking really weird, Sam.
Okay, so he was the world's greatest sportsman. Yeah, this is some of them. According to the national media in 1994, Kim Jong-il shot a record-breaking round of golf in which he achieved 11 holes in one, and a total of 38, by far the greatest score in history. And, if you can believe that, it was his first try.
Oh, fucking hell.
Having never before played the game. No other media organisation reported the news, however.
Where did it come from?
National media, I guess, is North Korea's sort of main. Here's a good one. He can control the weather.
Right.
According to reports, the former leader spread rumours that he could make it rain on demand.
It's fucking nuts that these people can't believe this.
Well, the thing is, though, I mean, like, look at how many people in the world, believe.
Fucking nuts. It's sickening to believe that, though. Do you know what I mean? That like the people are just like, you like turn like.
It's the exact same thing, though, when you have people that believe in the miracles of Jesus Christ walking on water. Any of these stories, like, and people do believe them. I mean, there's probably a large portion of society that.
It just seems so weird that it's not. Well, it must be a question in their country, but I think they're kind of like they don't have an option to question it. I think they're kind of like.
Well, there's that too, yeah.
They if in their country, like if they question it or are seen to question it, they're like political criminals and they get put in jail.
Well, not even just that. Well, yeah. So it'll be that, and it'll trickle down to the fact where you've got a family member, and let's say you've got a son, and he starts questioning it. Now you might know it's bullshit. But you think if my son begins to question this, he gets older, he'll be the one in jail. He'll be the one of this. So you, as the father, doing what you consider to be the good, responsible thing, you're teaching your child, no, it is real, and you're trying to convince him that you believe it's real, so that he'll stop questioning. So it's a sort of trickle down effect of it.
Aye.
And so it's not even just that all these people are living in fear. I bet a lot of them just accept it, and they're not even. They're not even that fearful. I bet it's normal to them.
They just can accept. Do you think there's like, well, no. I see what you mean. I was going to say, like, if they believed it, right, say they believed all this stuff, do you think there'd be like an underground criminal group? And they're like, fucking, like, they've got access to like outside world internet. And they're like, fucking, guess what? This guy can't change the weather. The weather is its own system.
I've seen him playing golf. He's fucking shite.
A hole in one fucking sock.
Well, I mean, but that's like saying in religious countries, is there an underground movement of atheists?
But that's like that's a mad country, that Korea.
Yeah,
North Korea. I don't know what about the South Korea though.
Supposedly,
are we talking about the North or the South?
Yeah, Gangnam Style. Like that's from South Korea. Like they're all right. They're apparently they're like polar opposites. They're allowed to dance in South Korea. Can you?
But maybe
Vice is a what would you call it? A channel on YouTube that do loads of sort of mini documentaries and things like that. They've got a sort of, I think it's like a 3-part episode where the guy goes to North Korea. It's really quite good.
That'd be good.
Anyone interested in North Korea and the craziness that goes on there. I don't know if we need to read out any more of these. I think we've kind of got it across it. It's a bit of a crazy...
I've got my crazy article, Sam, that I found. I'll not read the full thing because it is quite long, but I'll skip through it if you're interested.
He ate donkeys.
And then stopped. Right, there's a picture of this that I was trying to find, Sam, but I can't find the original. The original picture didn't come for this, but basically there's they're building this hotel, right?
Right.
In Korea, and they've been building it for about 20 years, and it is fucking huge. It's when they started building it was going to be the world's largest hotel. Like, there's a picture of it. That is not what it's like now. They've put like
that's the concept of it.
Aye, but like it's like a massive. How do you do that?
If you just put it.
That's like that original thing. That there's a bit of picture.
Okay, be sort of. Almost there. See, the lighting's kind of bad. Let's tilt it up there, just so people kind of know what we're talking about. There we go.
Right, that's the kind of. that's like a 3-pointed kind of thing. If you know what I mean, it's sitting like three.
Looks like a big pyramid.
It's like sitting like, see if you look like a Mercedes-Benz logo, it's like that kind of shape.
Oh yeah.
Right, so
it's hard to tell on that camera, but
aye, but it's like, so they've started building this, right, and there's a lot in this article. This is on the Mail Online. Just fucking clicked off the article. You bastard. Right, I'll need to find it. It's on the Mail Online, and like basically it was this guy who went to Korea, and he talks a lot about how like fucking weird this country is. Right, so like they've got this Korea, this world's biggest hotel, set to open next year. Now this was written in 2010, I think, and when it opens, it'll be 26 years in the building. Right, it sat for ages like a concrete shell. Right, it's built in this city called Pyongyang, and this city is so poor that it can't light its streets all the time. Like at night, it can't afford to do it. Right. I was speaking to my sister as well, and she was reading some stuff about North Korea. I don't know what the hell this fascination with North Korea is all of a sudden, but she was saying that like apparently in like their bigger cities and stuff like that, they've got subways, right? But they don't run them because it costs too much money. But they've got like certain like, if you're like a tourist to North Korea, it's really hard to get in. You can only get in on certain grounds, so many people are only let in, and so they know where all the tourists are in. So when the tourists are in, they fucking turn the trams on, and they tell people to use the trams, and they pay people to use the trams, so it looks like they're busy and they're doing great. People are going using buses, going to and from work and that. But really, these people are like living in total poverty.
I'd well believe it. It's weird because it's a shithole, but they consider themselves, just like the delusion of the guy being good at golf. They consider themselves to be the most like powerful country in the world, and like that they're really, but they're
only projecting that onto their own people, because I think, but I mean,
this is the people that, if you ask them.
Yeah,
I mean, who knows what they're really thinking? The cameras might go off and whatever. But this Vice documentary as well did a similar kind of thing, because it's really hard to get in. Well, this guy got in. I think he kind of convinced them. Spoiler alert and all that, but
maybe this is the same guy, Sam.
Maybe he kind of convinced them that he was there to do a documentary, and he was going to make it. He was like, he was there to kind of honor. Like the great leader and all that, and he was there to kind of make them look good, so they allowed him to come in, and he went and put on this. I mean, he's just a fucking guy with a camera saying that he's a filmmaker, and he went and put on this Well, it would be expensive if they were, doing it for any money, but I guess they're just doing it to try and put across this image. But they went and put on this big elaborate show for him in this like massive football stadium. Yeah, and there was like thousands of these performers. And you look in the stadium, the seats are empty. Aye. In fact, I think there might have been some people in the seats were like doing, the signs and switching the signs and all that, like performers and that. But look around, there was no one else there other than this one guy. And I think Kim Jong-il might have been there. Like maybe it was like this sort of private event thing for this one guy. And
that's crazy.
It's just to try and show them, like, look how much resources we have, look how much wealth we have, look what we can do got, like, at a whim.
Nothing.
And they have nothing.
So this guy, he gets in the country, right? So he starts off, he's chatting about it. I'm just going to go skip through it. This hotel, this hotel is called the Ryung Goyong. I can't even say it. Right. So he gets into this. He gets into North Korea, and he's in the hotel that he's staying in as a tourist hotel, right? And they nickname it Alcatraz because it's guarded by, like, there's physical, like, armed guards, like, at the gates to this hotel to stop people going in and out, like, or to stop, like, if
probably because they'll get inside and see that there's fucking nothing.
No,
in
this is the hotel that he's staying in. Like, he's staying in like a tourist hotel, like this. So he's chatting about that, but he says, like, he's in there in this town, this city. Well, they call it a city where, like, this world's biggest hotel is being built, and they've got no street lights at night. People are walking about in like total shitty clothes, carrying like coal or wool on their backs, or wood. Like, that's like olden days stuff. Like, they're carrying that around on their backs. And this is the wealthiest part of North Korea. People are foraging for fuel. Like, they can't just go to a shop and buy it. Right, so this thing is 105 stories tall, and it's got 3,000 room, and it's 24 years by schedule. So that's him just talking about his going to it. It begun under the work of the grandfather. The guy we were saying, like Kim Jong Un. Kim Il Sung was the guy that opened it. Because Seoul in South Korea was hosting the 1988 Olympics, so he was like, this is like a kind of get back. Then there's some crazy things in this. The structure of the Mighty Pyramid was quickly completed, but work came to a halt because like they ran out of money and stuff like that. It was an economic disaster, and like in doing that, it created a devastating famine that killed 3.5 million people. That's mentally, just so they could fucking build a hotel. So they talk a lot about that. The longest.
Yeah, I was going to ask, how many floors did you say it had?
It's like 105, I think.
That's crazy. So like because the tallest building in the world's that one in Dubai.
Aye, well that took over it.
Yeah, they've got 163.
They said that.
I'm trying to figure out what their aspirations were. Like they probably wanted.
It was just like the namesake of having the world's tallest hotel. Like they're saying here, like this town, like I say, has got nothing. Right, 16 years of not working on it. It just lays like a concrete shell. They had to strengthen it to not basically knock it down. It cost £111 million, and a country that's got nothing. Like where's that money coming from? Then some phone company from Egypt like signed a $400 million deal to help fix it or something. It's honestly nuts. There's loads of kind of crazy stuff as well about it, how he sneaked out. Like that's like a picture that's in the town where this is being built. Like total army guards walking about.
I have to show the camera.
Like people are living off £7 a week salaries. So this is where this mental monstrosity of a city's been built. You can't see that at all. That's like a wee woman with like a.
Let's see if it zooms in. No, I think we're gonna have to find a better way of showing the images.
Definitely. I should have told.
Apologies to everyone.
There's 24 people in the country. A fifth of the men are in the army as well. 1.2 million soldiers in the army they've got. That's huge, eh?
Yeah.
Like they don't even.
And there was all that thing like about them supposedly having nuclear weapons and stuff. Like not too long ago. But supposedly, oh no, that was the thing they did. They were trying, because they sort of, it came out that they might have nuclear weapons or they might be working on that, and so they were getting threatened of like, you know, show us what you've got, like let someone come in and investigate, or potentially we could end up going to war with you because we can't have people developing, you know, these types of weapons on their own. So North Korea released a photo of their sort of fleet of what do you call it, like the battleships. And like the people looked at it, and you can look at it online. You Google this, you can look at it online, and we're not going to be able to show anyone. But if you're for my own Google this, they photoshopped, like, you know, there's a couple of these ships where they've just taken the same image, and it's clearly been photoshopped, God. And it's not even like they've photoshopped it good. It's like it's a really really bad Photoshop job. Like, see it? Yeah, this country is fucking nuts. North Korea.
No, you're saying about the about like how we're saying about like they idolise their leaders as like gods. There's a picture here, and it's like a really good example of that. There's a statue of Kim Il Sung and Kim Jong Il, the two, like the kind of father and father again of these two, and look like they've got bronze statues of them. That's, and the people at the bottom, they're bowing in worship to them.
So that's it. And if someone proposed to put up a statue of George Bush, like, or even Obama, like that, people would be going apeshit, fucking
bananas.
And it's a good thing that they would be going apeshit, because you don't want to have idols.
Like, fair enough, like they've got them big statues of like Lincoln and stuff like that. I know the big one he's sitting in the chair.
Yeah, but I mean,
that's like a memorial.
Yeah, but I mean, you don't want to have like just, you know, statues of people, because you don't want to glamorize people.
No.
And this is a big thing. You know, Jacques Fresco always talks about it. You know, he is. If you put up a statue of him, you're just holding people back, because then they think that it's not the ideas that then people sort of respect. People then end up respecting other people. You know, and that's I don't think that's a good thing. But okay, let's move on from the North Korea thing, though.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
I think we've said everything.
I think so. I think that was it. It's just a fucking nuts country, Sam. Honestly, they build like fake buildings in that, so it looks like they've got loads of buildings. Really, that's like a cowboy like movie, and there's like just like a backdrop of like wooden fucking house fronts, and they're just like thin. There's nothing behind them.
Yeah. Well, there was a thing on Vice about that. About they had this big movie set. And they were telling them, "Oh yeah, we've got like because this is our western." They had one movie set, and it was like to look like a sort of, I think it was like a western theme, or it was whatever it was, right? It was supposed to look like an American thing, and they were like, "Oh no, yeah, and we've got the down there, we've got the European village, and we've got the Japanese village down there," and like they're trying to explain to this guy how big and how vast their movie set is, and he's like, "Oh yeah, can we go see any of them?" And they're like, "No."
Aye.
So they've only got the one, but it's a weird thing because it doesn't seem to be one person that's in North Korea that's trying to convince everyone that they're bigger than they are. It's everybody. They're all like in this mass denial, like they're a shithole. They're not. I wouldn't say they're the worst country in the world, but they're, I
think they're the most disillusioned.
Yeah. They're pretty bad. They're pretty bad off, and they just, they don't want to admit it. They don't. I mean, of course, if there's a camera on, though, they know that if they do admit it, that's them. They're dead. So
it's
I mean, it's hard to really know what they really feel. Like,
yeah, I think they're just like they're under like an oppression. Would you call it?
Yeah.
Like they're just like it's an oppressive regime, and but like that. It's just like that guy was saying, and like my sister was saying to me about they only use the subways at certain times, so people see it. Like when you go as a tourist, this guy had to pose as a businessman. You can't go in as a tourist, you had to go in there on business. And then they would go like in a bus, but the bus would only go to certain places. Like there's registered like official tourist attractions. Like they're not allowed to go anywhere else.
Yeah.
And like everywhere else, if they got stopped, like when he went into the country, he got his phone taken off him, he got his laptop taken off him, his passport got confiscated before he got in the country.
Yeah, I think we could be talking about the same thing here, the Vice programme.
There's fucking not, and they were saying like if you got caught without the passport, you'd be arrested and put in jail.
Yeah. And
he was saying when he did go out to this other hotel, like they seen the hotel like on the horizons they're coming in, and they're not allowed like they're on any communication devices or whatever. I don't know if they think fucking everybody's spies or something, but he said, "Oh, can we take a picture of it?" And the guy stopped like honestly like 5 miles away for him to take a picture of this thing in the distance. Then he did actually go into the hotel, but he said that when he went out for a jog and there was like guards there on the way out, and then when he came back into the hotel, like the guards were waiting for him, and they're like, "You've got your camera on you," and like but he'd like somehow managed to switch his camera with some other tourist guys and was like, "Take my camera," and they went through his camera just to see that he hadn't taken any pictures of inside those hotel, and it's mental. Like they're just, I don't know what they're trying to hide or try to prove or that, but this, like, it was sitting as like a concrete shell for years, like for 16 years, and then like, right, we'll put glass on it, so it's sitting as glass now, but there's nothing inside it. And like I was saying to you, like the glass cost like 111 million, so it looked like it was finished, but even before that it cost 460 million to build just the concrete shell, and they're going to have like 8 revolving restaurants, and there was going to be 3 shopping centres and a bowling alley and a swimming pool, and you're like, what the fucking 8 revolving restaurants and like a revolving floor for like sweets and stuff like that.
I don't know, maybe Kim Jong-un's just overly optimistic.
But right, do you know what, this was the fucking most nuts thing, Sam, right? The craziest point in this whole article was, right, I feel like I know this article better now that I'm not fucking reading it and trying to pick bits out. But like they were saying that, right, this room had like 3,000 rooms in it, right? They were saying for all the tourists that come into North Korea in a year, right, they could all stay in that hotel in one night. Fuck, like who's staying in this hotel?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And if it's in such a like a poor area, or like one of the richest areas, but it looks like a shithole anyway, who's like, is it people from Korea that are staying there? It's just like a status kind of thing.
Yeah, that's all it is. Yeah, it's empty on the inside. It feels like, it's like it's all show, no substance.
It's nuts.
But as I was saying, maybe he's just really overly optimistic. Like maybe when Kim Jong-il, when they started, building these things, when they had all these plans, he's like, yeah, 'cause 10 years from now we're going to be thriving. He's just really, really like.
But I don't know what comes out or goes into that country.
I have no idea. I don't know what they export.
It's like fucking Willy Wonka's chocolate factory. Remember when he shut his gates for years and he was like, "What's Mr. Wonka up to?" Fucking like next time, like the golden tickets. Everybody goes in. It's like a fun land.
Well, it is like that because no one can go in. Like, you can't just go into North Korea, and you wouldn't want to, by the fucking looks of it. Although Dennis Rodman's been going there.
Dennis Rodman.
Aye, you not heard about this?
No.
Dennis Rodman. I think now I might be getting this wrong, but I think there was some sort of mix-up where he thought that he was going to the good Korea, the one where Psy's from, Gangnam Style and all that. And
I'd check that shit out before I went.
Yeah, it turned out he went to North Korea.
Mm-hmm.
But apparently he didn't realise which one was
the
which
ugly
or whatever.
sister.
And and but he went there, and then because he's a big star and all this, and apparently Kim Jong-un likes basketball, so he was like, "Oh, Kim Jong-un, the president or the whatever they call him, want to meet you."
Mm-hmm.
And so he was like, down with that or whatever. And so he went along, met Kim Jong-un, and they ended up getting on, and now they're sort of like best friends. And Dennis Rodman's been going over quite a lot, and he actually took with him a bunch of basketball players to do like a sort of a show. I think it was for Kim Jong-un's birthday. Mm-hmm. They were doing like this birthday basketball game where it was like Team North Korea versus Team USA or whatever. And like there's Dennis Rodman and all his friends, and there's it's a shame we can't play any clips off of YouTube just now.
Mm-hmm.
There's in fact, you know what? We probably could play the audio. I'm going to show you this.
Right, I want to see it, Sam.
Because you only need the audio for this. So Dennis Rodman ended up going on this. In fact, do you know what? If I try and explain any of it, I'll probably ruin it. So
right.
Okay, so this is him on the news.
Rodman calls this man a friend, got upset with me for asking.
Right, I can only hear this as well, so that looks like okay.
And then makes a stunning accusation about Kenneth Bay himself. But first, former great Charles Smith, the ex-Nick, played for other teams as well, does a lot of good work with cultural exchange. He lays out why he joined Rodman on the trip. Take a listen.
Okay, so just as well, there was a guy who's being held in North Korea, an American, and so they were kind of asking him why they're not.
What do you mean being held?
He was like in a prison or something like that.
Right,
you know?
okay.
He was, I guess, being held hostage almost, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And no one was able to communicate with them and everything like that. So they were you'll see anyway.
You say it's more complicated than basketball. Basketball is not complicated to us, and that's what we do. We're not in here for complications. And again, we apologize for what has kind of the storm that has been created from our presence.
The game has been presented as a birthday present to the ruler. I'm not here to fight with you guys. I respect what you're doing. I'm just concerned for the family of this man who is held there, and I am concerned, as many Americans are, about giving a birthday present to a man who is seen as a despot who just had his uncle executed. Dennis, you understand the issue. It's not about hating on American basketball players.
Yeah, but you can continue to talk about the different activities that take place here. We have activities that take place. There's activities that take place all over the world.
Okay, Rodman's coming up.
We are using basketball as a bridge for cultural exchange, and that's all about communication. We're not here to deal with the politics. The date of the game is the date of the game.
Dennis, let me end on this. You do have a relationship with this man. You've said it many times. We've seen it demonstrated for whatever reason. Are you going to take an opportunity, if you get it, to speak up for the family of Kenneth Bay and to say, let us know why this man is being held, that this is wrong, that he is sick? If you can help, Dennis, will you take the opportunity?
Watch this. The one thing about politics, Kenneth Bay did one thing. If you understand, I got it. If you understand what Kenneth Bay did, do you understand what he did?
What did he do? You tell me.
Country.
You tell me. What did he do?
No. You tell me. You tell me. Why is he held captive?
They haven't released any charges. They haven't released. They haven't released any reason.
Listen.
Let me do this. I would love to speak on this.
Go ahead.
You got 10 guys here. 10 guys here that have left their families, left their damn families to help this country as a sports venture. Got 10 guys, all these guys here. Do anyone understand that?
We do, and we appreciate that, and we wish them well with cultural exchange.
No. I'm just saying, no, I don't give a what the, I don't give a rat's ass what the hell you think. I'm saying to you, look at these guys here. Look at them.
Yeah, but Dennis, don't put it on them. Don't use them as an excuse for the behavior that you're making.
Who's he talking about?
They came here.
These
You
10
just
guys.
basically were saying that Kenneth Bay did something
those are
wrong.
basketball
We don't even know what
players.
the charges are. But use these guys as a shield for you, Dennis.
It just starts not making any sense.
Listen. Ain't no shield. I got it. Let me do this. Really, I'm gonna tell you one thing. People around the world, I'm gonna do one thing. You're a guy behind the mic right now. We are the guys here doing one thing. We're gonna go back to America and take the abuse. Do you have to take the abuse? We're gonna take it. Do you, sir?
And Cat's alive.
Let me know. Are you gonna take that abuse? We're gonna get it. But guess what, though? One day, this door's gonna open because these 10 guys here, all of us, Christy, Ben, Dennis, Charles, all these guys, I mean, everybody here, we could just open the door just a little bit for people to come here and do one thing.
All right.
Look,
What the
The
fuck
whole-
was that? I don't even. I can't even follow that.
That's it. I remember watching that and being like, what did he even say?
I couldn't. First of all, I couldn't understand the fucking guy. I felt like I was fucking watching like some kind of shoot video or something like that.
That clip was longer than I thought it was going to be. It took a
Right.
while to get done, but yeah, I don't know. The guy just seems to. But at the end, you know what's the way he's talking? He's like, it's like he thinks he's in a movie. Like he thinks that he's doing something really profound with his life, where he's like, listen, at the end of the day, and you know, he's I don't know.
If we open the door a little bit, I don't know what the fuck he's talking about.
He seems to just have. He's lost his mind, and but he's all big friends with Kim Jong Un.
Un. No, Un is now.
Maybe we should just call him Un for short.
Numero uno. Could they not number them? Like he's Un, so that's one. And the next one they can call Dos or something.
Kim Jong Dos.
Kim Jong Dos. Kim Jong Tres.
It's crazy country, crazy people. Maybe that's why Dennis Rodman gets on.
So
with him so much.
what they were trying to ask him to like help this
So
guy.
he was
that
over there
like,
for this basketball thing,
Yeah.
and the news anchors were asking him about but what about this
The
guy that
capture
they're
guy.
holding? Yeah, I mean because they haven't released any charges, as the guy said, and he just goes off on one, and he's like talking about, can we open the doors a little bit? And,
You don't know. No. It was weird. See, before, like, I can obviously only hear it, but like when they were talking, like I just heard like it was before you even said right. Dennis Rodman's about to come up. I just heard him going. Like you just hear him growling, fucking guys, and he just like it was a person. It sounded like a fucking like a bulldog chewing a wasp.
it's just so weird. Like, what an odd relationship, you know?
Aye.
Kim Jong Un.
How do they
Dennis
understand
Rodman.
each other? Like they've got a translator,
No,
and then
I'm
like
sure-
Dennis Rodman goes, and then Kim Jong Un looks at the translator, and the guy just goes like, "Fucking, I don't know, mate. I don't know what he's saying."
He translates Rodman into English. Then there's another translator translates it
translates
into
to
Korean. Like,
Dennis Rodman's got his own personal translator.
maybe they just text each other like smiley faces and
Aye, that
like,
must
you
be
know,
it.
thumbs-
Snapchat and
thumbs up.
that. Fucking idiots. I wonder how that even happened. Like, oh, he went there in an accident.
He's probably wet. There's an accent. He didn't mean to.
Oh my god, I'm well out of shot.
I was just there. I just moved your camera.
Oh, was
I
it?
may have been the cat actually. Yeah. So Dennis Rodman. Right. That's us just about on an hour.
Oh my god.
I don't know if there's anyone on the.
I don't know how to tell. I could do some social things. I've had some.
Oh, that's right. 1 second. There's going to be. I need to turn the Skype on actually.
Alright.
Now, possibly this is our first show. Obviously, don't know
was
if
that
anyone's
noise?
even. That was the Skype loading up.
Alright, everybody can hear it. I was like, fucking, what's that?
So I don't even know if we have had. All right, we've got one friend request
on Skype.
Yep. Oh yeah. All right, so yeah, anyone want to add us on Skype? Feel free to give us a call, chat to us, and it doesn't have to be about North Korea, but.
Some guy sent us a message, Sam. I think it must be something, you know, when he was talking about I can't even fucking remember what he said now. That story's went right downhill really quick.
What's that? Oh, 'cause you
I
can't
don't know
remember
what he said. I don't know what the hell he said. It was something FEMA or something like that. He's like, talk about FEMA, and I was like, right, I don't know what the fuck FEMA is. And then he talked about the reptilian conspiracy. But
oh yeah. See, I don't know if he was being serious or not. Cause
I think he was joking. Mine was joking because I hope he wasn't sitting there thinking, because I said to him that's the top of the list, and all we've done is talk about wrestling in North Korea.
It was actually kind of funny because I was going to say, okay, so I'm guessing everyone who's watching this is aware of these conspiracy theories about reptilians and all this. If you haven't and you want to know what we're even talking about, just Google David Icke and you'll find stuff nuts. On I think the conspiracy theory, or the theory, I don't even know if it's a conspiracy theory, but the theory is the reptilian agenda, if you type that in. And yeah, so it's essentially that all the rulers of the world
are reptiles.
The royalties and the queen and the presidents and all that stuff, they're all secretly reptiles.
They did that on Doctor Who. They weren't like, they did it. It was on like the kind of, I think it was on like when they first brought back Doctor Who. There was these episodes and like they were in like in 10 Downing Street and all that kind of stuff, and all the kind of head honchos and that were all like they were like they were obviously reptiles from like another planet, and they had these suits and that. But
oh yeah, but were they not like pigs or something?
No, there was pig ones. But there was these other things. I think they were called. I'm not like a sci-fi kind of person. Slitheen or something. I think they're called.
Right.
And like they were just in the suits. Like they killed the people. Then just like took the skin and that off the people, and then just mass them and then used it for their own.
It's been done before. There was another program, an old program. I think it was called V, and it was the same. It was the same sort of idea. There's two versions. I think they did a remake of V as well. And
I never watched it, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, so it's the same idea. But no, this is like David Icke, who I feel bad for knocking him now because he shared my film.
Did he?
Yeah, he posted my film on his website.
He won't be watching this, will he?
No, but still, like, you know, because I used to knock him, and now I feel kind of bad for doing it because like he shared my film. But what I was going to say is though, it's weird though, because like we kind of joke about this stuff all the time. Oh, it's the reptilians, but there are people who believe it. And like I was up at one of my friends' house the other day, and this guy came in and you know, I was there chatting to him and how's it going and all that stuff, and we just started talking and kind of started talking about we actually initially started talking about like zeitgeist type stuff, and he was talking about like 9/11, like the first zeitgeist film. This is what he was on about, and it was funny. He kept saying like, you know, oh, you have to see it. You have to see that it's called zeitgeist. If you type that in, you have to see it, man. And I'm going, yeah, no, I'll check that out. Like, you know, like fucking, I've made a film like on behalf of the zeitgeist movement, and this guy's telling me like, you know, and I was like, oh yeah. But then that like sort of transpired into, we were talking about 9/11, we were talking about religion, and then we were talking about all these other kind of conspiracy theories, about talking about Alex Jones and stuff like that. And then he's like, do you know about the reptilians? And then I kind of laughed and was like, aye. And he goes like, it's real. And then like totally believed it, like totally, like
I don't know how.
I don't know, Adam, and then he showed me videos on his phone of apparently it was like it was Obama was talking at some sort of, you know, they're in like some sort of congressy type thing, or it was like an address, it was like whatever it was, and there's this security guy kind of at the front who's got a bald head.
Is that the sign language one?
No, that's a different one. So there's this bald guy, white guy, bald, and he's kind of moving, and it's like, I don't know, his head kind of looks weird or something like that. And so he's like, what do you think of that? And I'm like, yeah, his head kind of looks weird, eh? And he's like, yeah, reptilians, eh? I'm like, yeah, no. Like, why are you jumping to reptilians? Like,
You could have a fucking bad neck or something.
yeah.
What have I done to my neck?
Well, I mean, it was the guy's face was kind of warping and stuff like that. And there's also the other thing that sort of sways people on this is these videos on the eyes. If you type in, you go to YouTube, type in reptilian eyes, or like, you know, you'll find news reporter reptilian eyes, and what they do is they take these videos of people giving the news and they'll like pause it on a frame and be like, see that, look at his eyes, and then it'll be like his eyes are all fucked up. And then it'll be like, that's reptilian eyes. Now I feel bad because the guy that wanted us to talk about this,
Sam, I don't know if you need to turn your mic down on you, but you seem awfully loud all of a sudden.
I think it's because I moved closer to the mic.
That may be it.
But no, I feel kind of bad now because
No, you were
if
right.
the guy
Turn
who
it back up again. You're further away again. You turned it down and then sorry.
But what if the guy
Right.
is on you?
Yeah.
Who wanted us to talk about this actually does believe it. Now I'm just kind of shitting on his whole thing.
It'd be that would be the type of thing that like, no, that is actually reptilian shapeshifter cotton tape. But like, I don't know. Like, I think I've got like a lot of time for conspiracies. Like, I like a good conspiracy and that, but then things like that, I'm like, nah, I didn't buy it.
Well,
I don't buy the fake moon landing thing as well. Like, I've never been one for that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I love to give the sort of benefit of the doubt.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
But that's fucking really far fetched.
And oh yeah, no, but I'm hard pushed to. You know, I really require like a lot of evidence. You know, like so like one of my friends was telling me about all the moon landing stuff, and I'm like, all right, yeah. And he's like, you know, the flag's waving. That's the big thing.
Yeah.
You know, the flag's waving. And I'm like, what does that mean? I don't know anything about.
Aye.
If the flag's not allowed to move, or what? Yeah. You're just showing me like a flag waving and telling me that's evidence that we didn't go to the moon.
Like, why is it evidence?
And I'm like, all right, like, flag, okay. If I show you a flag moving on Earth, does that mean that we didn't? Okay, but then. But then so you have to push it further and say, why is this evidence? And then it's okay, well, because there's not supposed to be any wind on the moon because there's no the atmosphere, whatever. So the flag should not be moving. So then when you accept that premise and you go, okay, so the flag should not be moving, and we've got video evidence of it moving. Ah, right, that's interesting. And then you say, but what are the conditions? Like, can the flag move at all? And if you stop there, if you don't ask that question, if you stop there and go, the flag shouldn't be moving because we're on the moon and it's moving, so therefore this is fake, this is filmed on Earth, blah 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 blah. But Mythbusters is a good thing on it I watched. Where
I heard, I never got I tried to watch, but it was like a terrible quality. Tell me.
Yeah, so well, they basically were saying that okay, yeah, the flag won't move, but if someone's touching it, that will create enough sort of friction for the flag to move. Yeah. So it's only if no one's touching it and it's moving that then it's strange. But so then I go back and watch the first video and yeah, the flag's not supposed to be waving, but this guy's holding on to it, and so it's just the ricochet, you know. Yeah. So, but then I don't know. It's a weird thing because then you say that, and a lot of people don't think kind of. Oh wait, one sec.
What happened, Sam?
We've got a message. I think I shall be able to add some interesting topics to your weekly show. Good luck in your new project, guys. And Paul, FFS, get a bleeding shave, man. Was that just...
When did that happen? Is that Craig?
No, sorry, that was yesterday.
Oh,
I thought that was someone...
Aye, just right away. I've got a Twitter thing. Oh no, it's just a follow. Sorry, on you go.
Yeah, so
the moon.
I mean, there's loads of other things as well, but that's whatever it is with any sort of conspiracy. It's usually there's a premise. That then I mean no one really knows where that kind of comes from. Like the 9/11 thing is weird. So it's like the premise is these buildings should not fall like that. Yeah. And then if you accept that, then it's weird.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, you have to go back and then really look at the initial premise and say, are there no buildings that fall like that? And then it's like, well, these are the first buildings that have ever fallen like that.
Mm-hmm. Under
Supposedly,
those conditions.
due to fire. And then there's examples of other buildings, which have burned for however long, and they're still standing.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, so they are all, but that building that's burned for ages and is still standing. I mean, was that the same? Did that have the same integrity?
Aye.
I mean, you have to weigh up all the different things, and
Aye,
that's why I'm really hard pushed on sort of being 100% committed to any sort of calling bullshit on anything.
Yeah.
9/11's fishy, but
I think it is, Sam. I mean, I think what you're saying about questioning things, like when you see that on the news, like a plane hitting into a building and then it falls, you're like, that's obviously what happened. But then once it goes for a while, and what the world's like with people on the internet and fucking folk are pausing things on people's eyes and that to look for if they're reptiles.
Yeah.
They're going to look at that. And I think it is weird, especially this. I was kind of buying it. I was like, right, watching the Zeitgeist when they're tearing it apart. But then it was when they're talking about is it Building 7, another building that fell down. Yeah, and that's fucked up. That's really weird.
That's the most fucked up bit.
Aye.
How can 3 buildings? Now this is the thing though, that I'm doing the same thing where you present a premise and you say, how can three buildings crumble like that from only 2 objects hitting 2 of them? Now I'm accepting that premise of it being impossible. Mm-hmm. That might be possible. I don't know. I don't know all the variables. Supposedly the theory is that enough fire went over from one building to the next. I find it hard to believe, and I've not had it properly explained to me in a way where it's compelling. Yeah. So I'm kind of more on the side of that doesn't look right. There's something more to it than that. Aye. You've got, but then I hear arguments on both sides all the time. There's a website called Architects and Engineers for 9/11 Truth or something like that. Mm-hmm. And so this is I don't know how many people, but there's supposedly thousands of architects and engineers. Yeah. And they're all against the idea that it was just these two planes. They're saying it was a controlled demolition. It had to be. But then you kind of go, the flip side to that is, well, not all of these architects and engineers are structural engineers, Right. Some of them might just have nothing to do with construction and whatever.
Maybe just a fucking quantity surveyor somewhere. You've got something in that trade or something like that.
Yeah. Well, it's just an engineer doing something,
Aye. But an engineer nonetheless, that's what they're saying. It's not.
Yeah. So, I mean, they do have, I guess, some amount of credibility, but then if you just accept, if you're accepting the premise of, these are the guys that would know, and are they? I guess so. If I mean, we're being told that they're engineers, and if someone, but it's that thing where if someone has to construct a building, they have to be a structural engineer. So does that mean all engineers, know what they're talking about with this stuff? Not necessarily.
No, I agree with you.
So it's hard to really trust anyone, and this is why you shouldn't trust people. It's information. It's the ideas, which is kind of links back to what we were talking about earlier about people building statues and all that stuff. But
people are bastards is the long and short of this, Sam. That's what you're getting at.
I do like a good conspiracy, and I like hearing sort of new information. If not, just to sort of, at least in my head, sort of debunk it or put it off to the side in one certain way. What else is there? Bigfoot.
I like the Bigfoot one.
So there's supposedly there's a woman who's what is she? She's some sort of scientist. I'm trying to think which one it is now. Geological stuff, I think she does.
What, to do with rocks and stuff like that?
Or was it to do with that? She might have been a biologist of some sort.
Right.
And she's making the claim that we easily could have had Bigfoots, and in fact she thinks that if they're not still around, we at the very least did have them. And so that's a credible person, you would say. Is she? I don't know. Well, let's say she is. She's a credible person coming out and saying, well, that could have happened. And then it's a weird thing as well where you think, well, if it could have happened, if there could have been, by the way, the biodiversity of it, if it was possible, and of course it's possible, But if there was evidence that these things used to exist,
Yeah.
then there's no reason to say they don't now.
Yeah, exactly.
But then the other thing is, well, if they did used to exist, then the guy who captured the footage, I can't remember the guy's name. You know,
The
the famous
famous
one.
kinda like-
Yeah. I mean, like, if that's not a real Bigfoot,
Mm-hmm.
then did that guy just invent the Bigfoot costume? And what did he base that off on?
But was that the first Bigfoot thing?
I don't know.
Like-
Maybe it might have been around before that.
No. Because I heard some... I watched that Bigfoot Files on Channel 4, and they're saying, like, way back, like, Red Indians talked about Bigfoot. Bigfoot's the big feet. I don't know what they are. But they were talking about them, and that's going back.
But if someone said that they claimed to have seen this monster, right,
Mm-hmm.
and then they described it to you,
Mm-hmm.
and it was like this, it was like a gorilla, but it was more like a man, but it was this tall and this weight, and they described it. And then for years, everyone thinks this person's full of shit, this person's lying, and then it kind of comes out scientifically. They say this could have happened,
Yeah.
and not only that it could have happened, but that these things used to exist.
Mm-hmm.
Then you'd say, well, is that a coincidence then that this person came up with this story that fits?
Mm-hmm.
Or, I mean, is that a coincidence? Or did he see something? And, you know, does that mean that they're still there? Does that mean that they're still...
I'd like to
walking
think,
around?
like, I think, like, biologically, like, I think it was a thing. I think, like, the theory that I like the most is that it was, like, they were around. And it was maybe, like, not necessarily, like, part of our development, but as we developed from, like, Neanderthals, like, at some point there was, like, a split, and we went this way, and then these other, like, group got packed that way, and they went packed. People don't understand that. They went other... Like,
One went that way, one went that way. What happened?
You say tomato, I say tomato. He was gay. Right, so they went like the other way, and they just went off and they became Bigfoot. They developed in their own way, like over however many, and then these people went and became us. And then they just somehow like never thrived or whatever, but still made it in small numbers.
Well, yeah, if you don't change your environment, you know, if they found somewhere where they were comfortable,
yeah.
And I mean, this is this classic thing that comes up when people sort of deny evolution.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, it was on Big Brother a few years ago. There was a celebrity Big Brother,
Right.
and this guy Stephen Baldwin. You know what Stephen Baldwin is?
Aye, Alex
Biodome and all that.
Mm-hmm.
It was so funny the way he did it. He thought he was being really profound, you know. And he's like looked up and he's like, "Well, let me ask you this: if we evolved from monkeys, why are there still monkeys?" And he thought he'd like nailed it. He thought he'd like really, you know, like that was it. That was all you needed.
Yeah.
But that's again, you start off with the premise. Okay, well, if evolution works this way, where you're evolving out of something, why is that thing still there? God, I wish I was on that show. So of course, evolution doesn't work that way. Evolution is not linear.
No.
It's not one organism that's mutating over its lifespan. It's many organisms, many
Adapting in different
species
ways.
adapting in different ways. And if you don't change your environment, because it's you know, you change over time due to a lot of different things. You know, giraffes will be an example for like if you the food that you're eating like happens to be on a tree where you need like, you know, to stretch up and get it.
Yeah.
Over the course of time, the ones that happen to have bigger necks are going to do better in surviving, and then over the course of time. But if a bunch of giraffes before they moved into this area where they started eating all the leaves of the tree, if the giraffes moved somewhere else and they had trees that were lower
Like
down
bushes.
or bushes or whatever it is, I mean this is a hypothetical. I'm not suggesting this is what happened, but I'm just saying like you can understand why two things of the same species branched off and they changed independently. Now the thing is with apes and all that, so that's the other thing as well. People might be saying, "No, stop there," because this is the thing as well against what Stephen Baldwin says. If we evolved from monkeys, why are there still monkeys? Richard Dawkins will tend to argue, well, we didn't evolve from monkeys. We evolved from apes, right? And the trouble with arguing like that is like you're okay. you're doing a little bit of wordplay, but you're not addressing
Aye.
what the guy's main concern is, because you apply it to the same thing. You know, well, if we evolved from apes, why are there still apes, kind of thing, right? But and then there's also a big huge thing about the fact that we are still monkeys and classification, all that. But I won't go into that.
But there's like you're saying that about like why we evolved from monkeys, so why are there still monkeys? Like I think it's just like you're saying about the giraffe, like you evolve in your own groups, like you maybe necessarily like start as one thing, but you go off in your own groups, like the Bigfoot and that, and develop to your own needs. Like there's a thing, Charles Darwin, he came up with all this, like he kind of put forward like the idea.
There's this guy, this bloke, Charles Darwin. He came up with this mad idea.
Fucking Darwin cunt. Right, and but he had these. I think they were called Darwin's canaries or something. Finches. And so you know what I'm talking about. It's like they're like I'm sure it was like 5 birds, all the same bird, but they all had different beaks. Yeah. Because one ate bugs, one like went rooting around in the mud, one like ate nuts or something. And they had a different beak to suit different purposes, and they all evolved like same bird, different beak.
Well, people that deny evolution though will accept that, and they'll say, yeah, but what you're describing there with Darwin's finches, that's what we call microevolution. And so there's evolution that happens within a certain kind or a certain group of animals, but macroevolution, one species transitioning into another species, they say that doesn't happen.
Well, like another thing I was watching as well was it was a BBC thing. It was about the Galapagos Islands, and they're like they're a chain of islands. I think they're off like South America or somewhere like that. But somehow like animals have winded up on these islands. And because they're not near any other place, they've evolved in their own way, right? And these, like, I'm sure it was like iguanas or something, and they kind of go through it in the series and describe how these animals got to these Galapagos Islands. But there's like iguanas, and the iguanas are like lizard. I think they're iguanas. They're like lizards that go about in trees, eat bugs and that. So then and they're green because they live in the jungle, right? So somehow iguanas wind up in this island and begun to breed. Now the Galapagos Islands are total different climate from where they originally come from, so they adapted and changed. And like these Galapagos iguanas are much bigger and they're black, and because they don't need the same skills to climb about in trees and stuff, they swim and eat fish instead. But they're completely different, and they look completely different. Like they're a lot bigger than there's like Galapagos tortoises and stuff as well, and they all have developed in their own way, like within. Well, it's one species, but it's just like a branch off. Like they somehow iguanas. These ones went off to Galapagos, and they're like something else now. But they're the same basic thing, but they've just adapted to their own needs.
Well, another good example as well. For people might not know when you say like they're green because they're in the jungle. People might think, wait a minute, because they're in the jungle. Well, how does that make sense? So because I feel like I'm doing a bit of a,
I don't know where you're going with this.
It's turning into a bit of an educational thing now. But it's just because I know from talking to people online, like in real life as well, there's a lot of people that don't grasp evolution, and they think they understand how evolution works. And when you have a false understanding, the false premise of how it works, then it's easy to try and debunk it. Because it's called a straw man. You're attacking arguments that aren't there. And but another good example, I suppose this is an example of microevolution, but when you're talking about like changing colour, there was these mice, right? Or was it rats, whatever? I think it was rats, where they were out in this sort of desert, right? And the ground was like sand. It was like really light brown, right? And so whenever you found these mice, they were all really light brown. Their fur was the same colour as the ground. And of course the reason why that is because if you happen to be born and your genes are wired a different way, and you end up having let's say you had an albino, and you were completely white, up against the or let's say you were black, right, up against the sand colour of the terrain, you really visible then for predators flying up above. So those ones get picked out, and they never get to pass on the genes, and that's why the majority.
Oh, right, I get it.
And what happened with these mice? I can't remember the name of the place where it was, but there was a volcano erupted, right? And the lava flowed down, and blah blah blah, and or it might not even have been lava. I don't know. I'm just saying what it was.
But the ground
it may
went
just been ash, whatever it was.
Yeah.
The whole ground turned black. And over the course, it probably wasn't ash if it was there, but over the course of just a few years, people were observing this, and they started changing the colours.
That's
The
not
mice, because now the ones who happen to be born like the little, with abnormalities, like they'd be different from the rest. But, it wouldn't even have to have like a colour that matched the ground perfectly, but just if it was
Just a
slightly darker
colour.
they would stick out less to the predators over time. The ones that end up, so if they came back, the majority of them were all the same colour as the ash. And because now if you've got the light brown skin,
because that's what genes has lasted through.
because you're not able to pass on your
I
genes.
thought about it in that way.
So that's like for when people, because I remember before, like obviously I didn't go to school, so I didn't get taught evolution in school. So I didn't have a clue how any of this stuff worked either. And so I used to really puzzle me when they'd say like, there's an iguana that's green. Well, that's because its environment's green. I used to go, wait a minute, what? How do you mean it just happens to be green because its environment? I didn't get it,
Yeah.
So that was just a sort of little explanation in case anyone, because I do know, and I probably sound patronising, but I do know so many people who they don't quite know how evolution works, and especially that misconception of it being linear, where they think we evolved from this, so there can't be this anymore. And a lot of people think that we're evolving to something.
Yeah. All right.
And you think, but like, if the ultimate goal of evolution is this, there is no ultimate goal of evolution. Evolution is an ongoing process that just all it is adaptation to your environment. So if your environment happens to be the sea, there's a thing people say about sharks are supposedly the best evolved creatures in the world. I don't know why. I'm not really sure why that's said, but it's probably because they're at the top of the food chain. They're probably able to move around better. I don't know what it is, but there really isn't a goal, because things change. Like, I mean, what if our goal became, we wanted to, I don't know, conquer the stars or whatever. Yeah. So then the goal, then the goal of evolution would be to evolve us so to the point where we can fly, and that we can, exist in space without having to breathe. But that's not how evolution works. First of all, that would have to become your environment somehow. Yeah. And you'd have to be there long enough to reproduce. So, like, let's say you could survive in space. Or, in fact, I'm talking about lung capacity. What's his name?
I know what you're going to say. Carl Pilkington, when they went away to that, I don't know where he went. It was on his last series, and what the hell was it? He went to see the people getting married, the morning of life, and he went to that. He went to this country, and then they went out on boats with these kids, and these kids were like 7 or 8, and they were diving. Yeah. And he was like that, and the kid dove off the boat. Yeah. Went down underwater, and he was like, he's been in there for fucking ages, and like this kid was underwater for like 5 minutes or something. And like that, I struggled to hold my breath for a minute. Yeah. Like, and that kid has just done that. But obviously, like, his dad's done that. His grandfather's done that. It's and like that's just evolved into him.
The thing I was going to say was Michael Phelps, right? The swimmer who's I don't know how many gold medals he had, like 8 or maybe probably more now. Gold medals, in swimming. But he has a genetic, I think it's called a genetic disorder or something like that, where his lungs are bigger than they should be, kind of thing. So is that helping him then? Yeah. I mean, probably. He's fucking 8 gold medals and all that stuff, so he can hold his breath longer or whatever, right? So if you, my thing that was going to present was going to be if you had 20 people that were all with that genetic disorder, where their lungs were bigger, and if they went off and had a little community, and they would end up producing the similar kids. But then it wouldn't just be that by itself. Yeah, it would have to be the environment would have to encourage those survival traits.
Like the kids,
because maybe they all had 10 kids,
mm-hmm.
and maybe 7 of them had the same genetic thing. But let's say it was likely that they all had that genetic thing,
mm-hmm.
but say 3 of them didn't.
Mm-hmm.
But then say the 3 of them that reproduce are the 3 that didn't.
And then, sorry.
So let's say you've got 10 kids.
Yeah.
7 of them have the genetic disorder.
Yes.
And then 3 of them don't.
Yeah.
And then those kids all grow up and end up having kids of their own. But let's say, 3 of the kids that don't end up.
You see why I'm confused?
They end up reproducing with 3 that do.
Mm-hmm.
It lessens the chance that they'll have the disorder.
Yeah.
Blah blah blah. So the environment has to encourage whatever it is as well.
Aye.
So, so these kids that they're diving, that's a good example of
mm-hmm.
where their environment, in order to get their food, they need
to do
they
that.
need the lung, because the ones without good lungs, they're not going to be able to survive unless of course they're relying off of everyone else and all that. But the other example is the Kenyans, the Kenyan runners.
Yeah.
Who, I guess, they used to live in sort of these tribes that were like really far apart from each other,
mm-hmm.
and so in order to get anywhere, they didn't have cars or bikes or anything, so you had to run. So they got used to running from place to place all the time, and that's all they did was like move around.
Mm-hmm.
So they're I think it's like a muscle in their thigh or something like that,
mm-hmm.
Has evolved in a way where they get more of a spring, they get more of a bounce,
yeah.
and they just are better runners.
I think you told me about that before, but I think you told it to me before. You told it slightly different.
Possibly.
You were saying that because they grew up in that environment, like in the wild Africa, like they're running away, like they need to be on their toes, like like lions are running about,
mm-hmm.
and cheetahs and things like that. So they need to be a lot quicker than we would need to be.
I mean, whatever. Yeah, I mean, it could be that
as well. But
it's like if there's an environmental condition that says you have to be able to run in order to survive, in order
mm-hmm.
to then reproduce,
you'll evolve to it.
You'll eventually. Well, the ones that, like you personally, if you don't have that bone structure, then
mm-hmm.
you're dead.
Mm-hmm.
But let's say out of your group, maybe a few do. Maybe a few end up with this genetic disorder, but it ends up being advantageous for their survival. So
yeah.
So they end up being the ones that reproduce.
I suppose it's like people that live in like the Arctic Circle and that, like they cope a lot better with the cold and that. They would wear less layers than us and stuff like that because they're used to it, and it's just like ingrained in them. But I think it's kind of funny that like you've got all these people and animals that live in like extreme circumstances and evolve to it, like polar bears that live in like fucking like uninhabitable places, and like these things that live down like stupid areas of pressure, like at the deep bottom of the sea,
mm-hmm.
and we're just like fucking just going about, and everything's done for us, if you know what I mean. Like we've done everything for ourselves. Like we don't have any evolutionary needs.
Well, maybe.
Do you think?
I'm trying to think of a way in which it would be advantageous for your survival, because there are some things.
But we don't have any like predatory things, I don't think, or any dangers to us in like everyday life. Well,
the idea is it's not necessarily a predator, so it's survival, mm-hmm. right?
Mm-hmm.
So it might be survival in the case of you need food or whatever,
mm-hmm.
but the whole point of the survival is to exist long enough to reproduce.
Right.
So then, if you have a society where everyone can get by and eat and survive, let's say then people get really picky about who they reproduce with, and it's sort of an artificial, like they're surviving, they're there, but they're not able to reproduce because of whatever reason. Maybe people have a high standard,
mm-hmm.
Because now
like animals would be as picky as we would be.
Well, there will still be. I was going to use the example. Let's say you're really ugly, right? But the thing is, beauty's in the eye of the beholder and all that stuff. You could be really ugly and you're still going to reproduce.
Mm-hmm. Some people fucking manage it. See me, see me go down the street or whatever.
I was trying not to be mean about it, but
no, but like look at the Jerry McKell show, and like there's this lassie and she's sitting there and she looks like a fucking a face like a foot. And you're just like, and she's like, I've got 3 kids with 3 different fathers. And there's all these guys going for a lie detector test, and each one's more ugly than the last. And you're like, is this fucking, like, is this where we are now? Like, how are these people getting all the action?
There's a film, actually, what's it called? Idiocracy?
It rings a bell, I've never seen it.
I think that's what the film is. And the idea behind that is that it's set in the future, and the way that evolution has worked is that all the smart people were sort of smart enough to realise that, you know, we're running out of resources, they can't sustain having kids because it's too expensive, it's not fair on the kids, and all that stuff. Whereas all the less educated people, they don't care about all that stuff, and I mean that happens today. You know, there is a, like, the people in poverty seem, I mean, I don't know the statistics, but seems like they're having the most amount of kids. And I think maybe they're thinking behind that as well. If I have more kids, maybe I'll get lucky and one of them will become really successful.
Alright, I thought you were going to say like we could claim on the door or something like that.
Well, maybe that's the reason. You know, that there is an idea anyway that people have kids just so, and it's true. I mean, it works for them because you end up, if you're homeless or whatever, or if you're struggling to get a place to live, if you have a kid, you get a house much quicker.
Aye.
So there is that mentality anyway. I'm not saying that's why people have kids, but there's a precedent there for maybe that's why they're having kids, or maybe that's an added reason for having kids. But so the film presents the idea of, well, all the dumb people, they all have kids, and of course because they're dumb, then their kids are going to be dumb, and all the smart people get phased out because they're not having any kids. They're not, you know, pushing on their genes. And so the idea is in the film that it starts off in present day, and there's a guy who signs up for a thing who he's going to get cryogenically frozen for like a year or something, but then something goes wrong and his box gets switched off or sent somewhere else, and he ends up being cryogenically frozen for like whatever it is, like 100 years or 1,000 years or something like that. So then when he wakes up, everyone around him is just an absolute idiot.
Right.
And he's just this average Joe, right? And yet now he's the smartest guy in the world. So that's the premise for the movie. And I think it's a terrible film, but...
It's a good idea, but yeah. It could be a good idea.
Well, the thing is, though, it's an example of people not understanding how evolution works. First of all, like if you know, dumb people, if there's no such thing as like dumb people. You know?
Sam, there is.
Well, but I mean, it's all kind of relative, you know.
Yeah.
But so the idea is like, but let's say there is such a thing as a dumb person. He's just dumb, can't learn anything, right? Without saying like he's got anything sort of wrong with him. He's just dumb. If he has a kid, that doesn't mean his kid's going to have, because it's not, you know, dumbness isn't a
it's not genetic.
I don't think so anyway. Although I'm sure there'll be people disagreeing with me.
But then if you keep going dumb, I don't know. But unless like you had one guy that was like dumb, and then he had a kid with a dumb woman, and then you made sure that their kids were dumb and made sure that their kids were dumb.
Yeah, if it's that's what I'm saying. It's not like a genetic thing, but I mean, if you've got an uninformed couple of parents and they don't see any value in teaching you things, then maybe you won't grow up. But maybe you will. Maybe the fact that they don't care, you know, and maybe they're not giving you enough attention. Maybe you'll think, you know, I want attention from these people. So maybe you'll go out then and try and do something spectacular to try and get their attention. So that's why the film doesn't work.
But you wonder what would happen if it was in like a closed community, like in the Michael Phelps experiment you're saying about, like if there's like 20 Michael Phelpsies, and they were all just like put separate, like on some fucking island. But then, what if you filled an island of dummies?
But that's what I'm saying. There has to be an environmental precedent as well. So,
but if you gave them everything they needed, Wall-E.
But the thing is, if you give them everything they need, like just now, kids these days are going to grow up with having things like tablets, where they have the internet so accessible to them, and it's not it's not even like it is today, where it's like, okay, you have Google and all that stuff.
Yeah.
You'll have so many different apps for so many different things that, you know, they'll be able to learn anything they want. And I don't think that you get, quote, dumb people out of people not just being dumb and not wanting to learn.
No.
It's due to access,
Yeah.
you know. And when you have access to the internet, you know,
You don't need to retain information in the same way.
well, there's that whole argument as well. Like, we won't have to. That's the thing. The whole school system these days, it's a lot of it. I'm kind of talking out my ass because, you know, I didn't even go to school really.
Right.
And but the idea is it's repetition. Like, you know, you learn something. It's memorization, rote memorization, where you don't really learn how the thing works. You just learn what the answer is.
Yeah.
And now we're getting to a stage where, let's say you've got Siri on Apple or whatever the other ones are. In fact, what's that one? Watson.
Right. What's
So
that?
Watson is a piece of software, which it's basically Siri that you can talk to. It's voice recognition software. Siri's built off of Watson. Now, Watson was developed first, and what they did was that, you know, the American TV show Jeopardy.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
So, like, supposedly they put Watson on. Now, Watson doesn't have a hard drive full of information, right? It's not like it has a preset list of questions. Like, you say, who was the third president of the United States? And Watson goes through its hard drive and looks up. It doesn't work like that. It's connected to the internet, right? And so it's connected to, it has access to things like Wikipedia. So the cool thing about Watson is it's programmed in a way that it understands the structure of the question, right? So you'll ask it, what was the third president of the United States? So I think it probably could even recognize your tone to see whether it's a question or not, right? So it'll register your answer, it'll go down and it'll check Wikipedia. I think it has more than one website, and then it'll check your question. It comes back with the answer, and 9 times out of 10 it's the right answer. And if I say 9 times out of 10, for all I know it's 10 out of 10 the right answer. So they put it on Jeopardy against these, like, panel of, like, Jeopardy champions, you know, and Watson won, destroyed them, right? And so now of course then they developed Siri off of the back of Watson,
right?
Where Siri's kind of like, you know, your little toy version of what the software can do. But what they're working on is all these phone systems. When you phone up a place and it's a voice activated, I actually phoned up a place today and it was so frustrating. It was I'm getting something delivered, and it was they made a delivery attempt today, but I wasn't in, so I had to phone up and get it thingied for tomorrow. And it had this tracking code, right? And so there's this voice activation thing where it's saying, please enter your activation code, saying one letter at a time. And you're like, okay, Z, J, X, you know, and you're saying the whole thing. And then it's like a 12-digit code. And then at the end of it, it just goes, I'm sorry, I didn't get that. Could you repeat that? And then you have to say the whole thing again. Right. I'm sorry. So the software that you have just now for these phone things are so shoddy. They're so bad. So whereas when we have Watson, this is the big thing that's coming. All these phone systems everywhere will they don't have to have their own unique software. They can just use Watson.
Just one
so
universal kind of thing.
I mean, they could probably tweak it so where it's more thingy for them. But so sorry, I'm getting signals here for we've only got 20 minutes left, and we were going to take some calls, but I don't know if anyone's actually online.
I don't know how to look. I was told that we would get a call from somebody.
I'll tell you what, if anyone wants to call in, we're on Skype.
Oh, I think we've had a tweet, Sam.
Oh, we might have had a tweet.
I don't know how to tell.
But sorry, I was getting distracted there. I'll just finish telling you about Watson. So the big thing is with Watson, it's the phone recognition system that's gone. That's like, you know, it tells you what's your tracking number, and you'll say it, and it won't be like, oh, can you say that again? It'll really understand you. So that's the thing about Siri, which makes Siri so good. Like, I mean, even with the Scottish dialect, it really does understand you.
It does pick
a
it
lot
up
of the time.
Because I found, like, before Siri on my iPhone, it wouldn't recognise if I was like, call Sam. It wouldn't be like, calling Sam, and it wouldn't do it. It would just fucking like it phone somebody else or do something else. But see if I was like, call Sam, like, and say that in like an American accent, it was like, fucking it, phone you.
Yeah.
So that's good though.
Well, but that's what they're kind of doing now. They're working on getting all this, and that's, I always talk about how I love like when things consolidate, and I think it's more easier. Like, I mean, you get all these voice activation calls. I mean, there's a scary element to it as well, because let's say you've got these what are they called, PPI?
Aye.
Calls that you get, like asking you about PPI insurance, and
if you want to make a claim on it,
yeah,
a PPI claim.
Like just now, when someone phones up and it's hi, you know, you instantly know it's a recording, right? But the thing about Watson is, they're saying anyway, you won't know it's not a person. It'll be so convincing.
Suppose Siri isn't that bad actually. It'll be like, oh, I've told you that before.
Yeah, I mean, like Siri's kind of still sounds like a.
Aye. But it sounds better than like an automated, hi, you have been selected for California Cruise. What the fuck?
Hi, you have been selected for
California
it's
like the pitches all over the place. Aye, I know what you mean.
Yeah, so they're saying that they'll be able to make that up. But the big thing, right, so there was the telecommunication stuff, but supposedly they're coming out with, they're saying it's going to replace a lot of lawyers.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to need... you're not like if you're trying to find out information or like, can I sue someone for this? You're not going to have to ask a lawyer. Like they're going through all the law books, all the legislation for all the different countries, and telling Watson, you know, I guess they have to put all the information in, because on the internet, I mean, it's not like if it's just referencing Wikipedia, it could come up with some crazy laws.
Aye.
But whereas if they program it to understand what the actual laws are, and then they'll go through a whole sort of rigorous testing process, and then they'll probably put it into practice for like, you know, a year or something, just to make sure that it's completely right and test everything that they do. But once they get that working, that's a large portion of lawyer jobs gone. The other thing they were saying is not just lawyer jobs, but a lot of sort of clinical like, I guess if you've got a rash or something like that, you know, or if you've got something wrong with you, rather than having to go to your doctor and tell him what's wrong with you, and then he'll say, oh, it sounds like this, use this medication. This thing will be able to tell you what the problem is. So in a sense, now I'm not saying that this thing's going to replace doctors, but the workload required of a doctor just now will be diminished. Not entirely, but by at least a significant amount.
It would be able to give you a quicker kind of easy, like 24-hour diagnosis. Like, imagine phoning up NHS 24 and like, oh, we'll put you on hold for fucking like an hour, and then you can speak to somebody, and then that person's just going to tell you to go to the hospital. Like, it'll be like, oh well, like fucking look, it's automated.
This is why it's a good thing, you know. It's always a good thing to automate and to lessen the workload. But people all too often see the sort of scary side of it.
But I think, like, in the sense, like the doctor thing, like, I think if somebody like phones up and was like, I've got a rash, like, you get a number of different rashes, do you know what I mean? Like, it could be anything. I think at times it is better to see it. Well,
that's the thing is with Watson, or whatever version of Watson it will be, eye doctor or whatever, you can talk to it, but why wouldn't you be able to send an image to it?
Aye, or video call or whatever.
Yeah, video call, and it will read. Especially now with cameras getting so good and all that stuff, it'll be able to look at the type of rash that you have. It will be able to measure, because the thing is, if you think about what a doctor's actually doing, a doctor is like sort of referencing their own, what they've learned, and trying to remember, which is a completely flimsy thing. Like, as a human, you know, trying to remember
everything. There's a lot to remember.
But whereas the computer doesn't have to go through this flimsy process of remembering. It reads through everything everything that's been taught is there, present.
I think, like, you're saying about that as well, like how it would recognise like a certain rash or whatever it was. I seen a thing, and this was like a couple of years ago now, like maybe even 3 or 4 years ago I seen, and it was James May from Top Gear. He was doing this thing about robots or whatever, and he was showing you like this robot would recognise objects, if you know what I mean. Like, it would have like a video feed into it, and it would recognise an object, so it would learn what a chair is, and you could put a chair in front of it and be like, what is it? And it's like, it'll tell you it's a chair. But you could put like another type of chair in front of it that looks completely different, like like some kind of fancy Art Nouveau kind of design chair, and it's like, that's a chair. And you could put like a stool in front of it, and it'd be like, it's a chair, like a type of stool. But you could put a table in front of it, like a wee table, and it's like, it's a table. Like it would know.
Yeah.
And like how does it figure it out? Like obviously I could figure it out because it's thinking in the same way, but it can differentiate between
Sorry, I'm
different
getting
ones.
I'm getting a message here. People are not sure what it is that they're Skyping. I think they're trying to search me or you.
Right.
So we've actually set up a Skype channel.
Yes.
The username, the Skype name is just Chairman of the Board, all one word, lowercase, board is BORED.
Yep.
If you add us on that, we've actually only got about 12 minutes left of this episode.
Mm-hmm.
But if you can add us quick enough and you want to join in for the last 12 minutes, feel free.
I've been holding a pee as well. So
You've been what?
I've been holding a pee for about half an hour. I'm doing alright. I've been like looking at the clock and now he's talking about Skype. I'm like, fucking hell.
Well, do you know what?
Don't get into some
Until
debate.
someone does...
I would like somebody to phone in though. I think it'd be good.
yeah.
I don't. I was told I had somebody tell me that they were going to Skype in. I've got some tweets, Sam.
Mhm.
I'm doing some social interaction.
Go for it.
I've been applauded on my T-shirt choice.
What is your T-shirt choice?
It's Jamie Lane.
And who's that?
He was in a band Reuben that were very overlooked and fantastic.
Reuben.
Reuben.
Oh yeah, from Ocean's 11.
Yes.
I don't know.
Right, they're a good band anyway. So I've been applauded on that. I've been tweeted to say that apparently Tanya, the mother of my child, hashtags my daughter. So she's trained in, I think.
Yeah.
Woohoo! I've got another follower. I think we now have 5 followers, and Hazel has started off like.
I mean, how many did we have at the start?
Well, me. It was just me, like one person.
So we've had more people on Twitter.
Yeah.
Well, that's success. That's successful.
Hazel Curry tweeted she wants to know what both of our views on the meaning of life is, which is a whole fucking other thing. Hazel, give it a race.
Jesus Christ.
Give it a race, mate.
God's sake, Hazel.
We had some. I think we had some Facebook things as well, but I don't really know what they were.
Well, do you know what? I think it's been pretty good. I think we got off to a bit of a shaky start because it's only natural. You know, I mean, this is like we're not normally public speakers or anything like that.
No.
And there's a bit. I think there's a bit of added pressure with it being not just our first podcast, but the fact that we do have all this equipment set up.
Mm-hmm. It is a bit nuts.
We do want, it's a weird sort of thing because we've premised it as, you know, this is just if you're bored, you know, just switch this on if you're bored. We're not gonna whatever. But
it got fucking quite heavy there, Sam. It did.
Now we've got everything all set up. Now I really want people to tune in. You know.
Aye, I know. I quite enjoyed it. I think we went some interesting places. I think I don't know. I think next week I would like more social interaction, but I think we didn't. I don't think we needed it. I think like it can be good as like a conversation thing. But like obviously like tweet in or Facebook us in, follow us on Twitter. I think our Twitter account is Chairmen OT Board. And Twitter.
Well, that's the thing. It's not easy to find the Twitter account because of the name. You know.
Yeah.
We've had to shorten it. Chairman OT Board.
Yeah.
Follow us on Twitter. Oh God, it sounds like such a commercial.
I don't even like using Twitter. I think the only thing we've got a good amount. What did it fuck was that, Sam? What's going on?
We have a Skype call.
Oh my God.
God, that was really loud.
Conversation thing, but like obviously like tweet in or Facebook is in. Right, whoever's filming us, you need to mute the video or something because we can hear it.
Yeah, that's right.
Keyboard, well, that's like the thing. 2 minutes ago, right? Whoever it is, fucking like. Chairman.
Hello.
Hey, dude.
Hello?
You're gonna have to mute your sound.
Your YouTube because we can hear ourselves 2 minutes ago.
Alright, no bother.
Hey, this is Ryan Green.
Alright.
Where are you from, Ryan?
Falkirk.
Falkirk, right. I'm gonna have to hang up on you, Ryan. We're not accepting calls for Falkirk.
Oh, come on, it took me on to take my phone call, man.
How's it going, dude?
Not too bad. How's things?
Pretty good. It's a shame we've only got like 9 minutes
we can
left
go over,
now.
Sam. It's not like a.
I know. I couldn't sign into my Skype, so I had to totally create a new account and everything. So
that's a lot of effort you've went to there, Ryan Green.
I know.
Yeah, it's totally worth it though.
I do want to keep it to the 2 hours, but I'll tell you what, we didn't start for about 3 minutes in, so we'll go 3 minutes over.
Oh, Sam, stop being such a time Nazi.
But the thing is, this is for sure. We don't set the standard here, Paul.
We fucking were late. I'm needing a pee. The pee's not important, Ryan Green. Don't worry about my bowels.
Anyway, Ryan, you're phoning in, so you have something you want to talk about. So we'll stop talking.
Yeah, I just want to know your view Facebook just announced that they've bought WhatsApp for $18 billion.
They've bought what?
They've bought the mobile messaging service WhatsApp.
WhatsApp?
For $18 billion.
That's crazy. I mean, it might not be crazy. Who knows what?
I feel like Sam.
Maybe it's a good deal. I don't even know what the app is.
That's what
I said it's crazy before even knowing what the app is.
It's kind of like, would you say it's almost like iMessage, Ryan, and you can just like message people through it and send pictures and stuff through it. This is WhatsApp, Sam. But so like I've been sending pictures to it. You can just like, it's kind of like iMessage.
I don't get it though, but you can already do that through Facebook.
Yeah, but then if you've never heard of WhatsApp, then is it worth the money?
Yeah, that's it.
It's free as well though, but like WhatsApp doesn't have any advertising or anything on it. I don't see how you'd make money off it. It's a free thing to download. Maybe it's just another thing. I like using it, but I don't really see like how. Like when I had my iPhone, I never used WhatsApp, so I think that's a bit silly on that point. But I think it's just like one of the things, like it's doing a lot of. I want to say business, but I don't see how it is doing business.
You think they're just trying to buy out the they don't want people going to that thing, so
maybe. But I mean, you can do all of that on Facebook as well, so they would link it up with your Facebook. I don't know, Ryan. You fucking confused us, man. Like I don't know what to say.
I mean, it's a lot of money. It's an excessive amount of money. But do you think maybe they just have so much money they kind of don't know what to spend it on?
Yeah, well, I mean, they've threw money away on shares. They've now bought WhatsApp. Like,
what, do you know anything else that they've been buying?
Not really, no.
I heard they bought a 3,000 floor hotel in a 3,000 room hotel in fucking North Korea, and they've bought North Korea's space program.
And nobody's allowed to go to the hotel.
Oh, I know.
North Koreans.
Fucking North Koreans.
Fucking North Koreans. Any North Koreans listening right now? In fact, there won't be. I
don't
think they're allowed internet.
They're not allowed podcasts or internet or anything.
No. They're not allowed.
They still fucking communicate on like 2 tins with a bit of string.
And even then, sometimes the guard comes along and just cuts the string just to be a dick. Like.
Just sees the string going between two houses. Bunch of wankers. It's after 10 o'clock.
And then they have to sell their bodies for more string.
Oh God!
Alright, we're getting dark. No, well. You know what's weird though? I'll try and bring it back to what Ryan was bringing up. Facebook. I seen that they developed. It was like an app that they developed. And I think it was called Paper. It was. I don't know if it was Facebook Paper or if it was just called Paper or something like that. But it was by Facebook, and it's sort of a redesign of Facebook for on the app.
What?
I don't know. I saw a trailer for it, but I've not seen it. I tried downloading it the other day, but it must not be launched or anything yet.
Because they know that Paper's a real thing as well. Like they don't need an app.
In fact, it is called Paper, and that's what the advert was trying to show that.
I'm going to look for it.
It's sort of trying to give you everything that you're able to do with paper, but without being able to use it on your phone.
Or is it like one of these Facebook apps thing?
No, I think it's from Facebook. Like they've
Facebook.
developed it.
Oh, I don't know. I just got Paper Toss.
It's not Paper Toss.
Is it out yet?
See, that's the thing. It might not be. I tried looking for it. I couldn't find it. So
and what is it?
What is it? It's So essentially, it syncs your Facebook account, and it's a way of using Facebook,
right?
But all the navigation system's completely different. So it's like you go on your Facebook app.
Mm-hmm.
It's essentially the same as that. All the information's still there, your friends list, your contact list, and all that stuff. But it's designed in a different way that's supposedly better. In the article I read, it was saying how Facebook's just developed an app that's going to destroy their own Facebook app because it's better than the current Facebook app.
He's just fucking playing with money now, that lad, eh?
It's probably not even him, I mean, they went public, so there's probably a bunch of people, shareholders and all that, who now make all those kind of weird decisions, like let's buy WhatsApp for how much? How much is it? 18 billion.
That's mental.
Yeah, 18 billion.
Wow.
They must be finding some way going to profit off it then, eh?
Well, you'd think so, but if not, it's just a lot of money to throw away.
I know it is. It's crazy.
So what else you got for us, Ryan?
Not a great deal. I've not been on Facebook very much. Yes, I've not got any gossip.
What does it feel like being our first caller on our first podcast?
Pretty good. It was hectic, but I'm there.
Hectic.
Now, what was the problem? Was it the Skype address, or was it just that you didn't have a Skype account?
I've not used Skype in that long that I forgot my username, so
Yeah.
I just created a new one. But Hazel didn't know what your address was, so
Yeah. The other thing as well is someone was saying to me about Google Hangouts, and I think we need to. We didn't do it in time. I've been quite busy this week, but we'll need to make up a Google Hangouts account.
Mm-hmm.
Supposedly that's better. Supposedly that's.
I think it's like the same kind of deal, to be honest, Sam. But anybody that can use that can use Skype. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, but I mean, there might be more people. Oh, Ryan's.
I had a flop.
I think Ryan's off.
Is he just drowned?
I don't know if that was a mistake or. I didn't hang up on you, Ryan, if you're still listening. But
He'll get your apology in 5 minutes.
what's that?
He'll get your apology in 5 minutes.
Well, it's good timing. Anyway, whatever happened, he got disconnected. He's
Okay.
the NSA were onto him.
The fucking Korean guard right outside the window with the scissors there, Sam.
That's good timing though, Ryan. Don't worry about it because we're actually just about finished. We've got 2 minutes left. Can you
Yeah.
hold your pee in just for the 2
A
minutes?
little bit.
Just
My
so we
feet
can
are
get
already
it.
starting to leave the chair, Sam, to be honest
I'll
with
tell you
you.
what. I'll tell you what. We won't be Nazis about it. We'll leave it there.
Now we're finishing early.
Back only by a couple of minutes.
That's alright. We don't want to just extend out for the sake of 2 minutes.
We recommend you use a stream bitrate value of. Okay, I hope the stream's been a lot better this time. It should have been because on our test podcast it was a bit glitchy. Hopefully it's been a bit better. If not, if there's any problems, we'll do our best to try and sort that.
No, but well, I want to hear some feedback on this, like from the fan,
The fan.
Ryan, or whoever else is listening. I would like some
Well, I'll
feedback.
tell you what. If you want to give Paul some feedback,
Yeah, just go on the
Facebook
Facebook
page,
and
blah, blah,
Twitter
blah.
as well. I don't know if anybody really uses Twitter. I'm going to know what I should have done. I'll put the Twitter account on the Facebook. Like I'll post it up so people are like, that's what it is. They can just click it.
Hashtag Kim Jong Un Rainbow. How long can a hashtag be? Is there a limit on it?
What do you mean? How long can it? How many? Well,
Yeah, how many characters can it be?
it's like
one
140,
hashtag.
I think.
So you could just do one.
You could just do like loads of words joined together. Just say anything you want. Was that Skype or is that somebody whistling somewhere?
We should make a hashtag, right, where you only have like 4 characters left, right? So that you can only tweet like these one-word things.
But then it's a fucking... but then it's a nightmare to read because you're like... You're trying to find out where the spaces are meant to be and you're like, what the fuck is it? You can't put punctuation
No,
in
but
it.
one of the spaces would be one of the characters. So it's only really a 3-letter word you can post. Because the rest
Wait,
would be
what?
the hashtag.
I really don't
It
know.
doesn't matter. Fuck Twitter. We're not using...
Fuck off Twitter.
We're not
I'm
using
deleting the
Twitter.
account.
I'm deleting Twitter. Okay, we'll wrap up just now. Thanks for everyone.
Thank you very much.
Tuning in. Thanks for everyone. That sounds weird, eh? Thanks for everyone.
Thanks for everyone. That could be the sign off.
Yeah, that's how we'll end it. Thanks for everyone.
Thanks for everyone.
And we shall end it there. Like on the news, you just don't expect that. Like it's a bit. I
It
don't
is
know.
funny. I know
I don't
what
know
you're
if
saying.
I have a problem with it.
I have a huge problem with it, Sam.
But anyway, so we were thinking about how we're going to start the show. I think we were going to go.
Where are you going, Sam?
I tried to. My way of preparing for this was I was going to like go through the news and see what was interesting.
I was
haven't
going to do
actually.
the same as well. I never as well. But Sam, there's a thing that I seen on the news today that was like, Sam will have something. Well, maybe you won't have anything to say about it because it's not like a thought-provoking thing. You're like, no fucking way. I disagree with that. But Viscera died today.
Oh yeah, I did see that.
Did you see that?
Well, I didn't see it actually. Hazel told me.
I seen it on like somebody posted it up. Like I knew him as Viscera, but like somebody was using off kinds of funny names for him, and I was like, who the fuck is he?
For people who don't know, so Viscera is a professional wrestler. Viscera
He's a
was
mad-looking guy.
The character he played. He's an absolutely, I don't know, beast. Like he's huge.
I remember he used to wear that big PVC fucking overcoat.
Yeah.
Like there wasn't any shape to him.
No, and
He looked like
it didn't do him
a
justice.
Dalek or something, like a big. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's fucking. It was so
He
weird.
looked like a blurry, fat Darth Vader.
Aye, with a did not have like a bleach
He had a
blonde
yellow.
mohawk
Yeah.
and fucking weird eyes.
Yeah.
He was a weird looking guy.
But before that, he played a character called Mabel. I'm not even sure what Mabel's gimmick was, but he was basically just loud and sort of, I don't know. He wore this. It wasn't a PVC thing, but it was a sort of big jumpsuit, this big purple and yellow jumpsuit. And
like tight.
No, it was kind of baggy. Yeah, I don't think you could get. Well, I was going to say I don't think you could get anything tight for him, but. And I think everything would be tight on him.
Everything would be tight, surely. Even that fucking big coat. That's true, actually. Everything would be tight.
Yeah, it's kind of mad. He's dead. He's gone. There's so many wrestlers dying. There's a thing. I mean, obviously wrestlers have to go through the whole, like, you know, a lot of them were taking steroids to try and get bigger and all that stuff, and that kind of supposedly leads to all these heart problems, and that's the reason why they're dying. But I mean, they're obviously. Although we all know wrestling's fake, don't worry, you know. But it is a hard job that someone's doing. Hard. That obviously the body takes a toll, and maybe there's something there as to why all these wrestlers are having short lifespans. But if there's a weird thing, I can't remember which one it is. But if you go back to one of the WrestleManias, it's like WrestleMania 5 or something like that. There's something crazy, like 80% of all the wrestlers that are on that show, they're all dead now.
Oh my god.
And not from old age, like, you know, WrestleMania wasn't that long ago, but just from, I don't know, drug problems, heart problems, because a lot of them are taking pills to go to sleep, taking pills to wake up, they're on the road all the time.
Nutsy.
Yeah.
And I think it's like you're saying about like a lot of them, like the older ones, like or like the.
My name is Sam, and that's not all. I got a pretty good show with my good friend Paul. So listen up to the chairman of the board. I talk to him and he talks to me. We talk a lot of shit, but you get it for free. So don't complain, these gadgets cost a lot. So now we're at the end of the song, and everybody knows what's going on. So here we have the chairman of the, yes we have the chairman of the board. Because we're bored.
Woohoo! Hello. Are we actually streaming, Sam?
Yeah, that looks right.
Something's happening.
That should be fine.
Stop streaming. Oh, yes, we are streaming, Sam.
Excellent.
Hello.
Right.
So we're live.
We are. How's it going, everyone? You can't really answer that. Sort of a rhetorical question, but...
Well, they can through the media
How's
connections we've got, Sam.
Oh, we're not selling stuff already, are we, Paul?
Yes.
This is really early on to be selling stuff. You can...
You can download our single. It's 30 seconds long.
Yeah, we thought we'd try and make it that a little bit more official by having a intro. I thought it went well.
I think it did.
It's a bit strange, you know, that we chose to go country.
It just was kind of what happened with it, Sam. It wasn't a conscious choice.
When all you have is an acoustic guitar and you're trying to write a silly little jingle, it's kind of all you can do.
Well, originally it was power metal, like.
That's it. We wanted a Tenacious D type kind of thing. That didn't work out so well.
So here we are, acoustic and country.
Yep.
And we're going.
So we should be broadcasting fine. This is our first podcast. We did a test podcast just to make sure that YouTube would allow us to record the full 2 hours. That test podcast came out very glitchy though. So if there's any problems, if you want to comment us, let us know. See if there's something that we can adjust. If the volume is not quite right, let us know, because or
just turn your volume up on your computer.
Yeah. Or just fuck off. No, but what's that?
I can see.
That's good.
Right,
okay, so at least we are being broadcast. So, Paul.
Yes, Sam.
How's it going? Are you excited?
I don't know how we started, Sam. I felt very nervous, but I don't know what I was nervous about. I was sitting eating a burger 2 minutes ago, and I couldn't enjoy it. And you kept testing things, and I was like, fucking hell.
It's real. It's real.
Every time I heard you play the theme song, I was looking at the clock, checking my phone, and I'm like, fucking, what time is it?
No, it's exciting though. I mean, this is like, it's a podcast. How many people have a podcast?
Well, I'm a veteran, Sam.
Okay, you do have a podcast.
It wasn't very successful. We've had about 6 episodes in the span of 6 months.
Well, then you shouldn't be nervous. You should be used to this. You should be an old hat.
But it's weird, because when we originally done the podcast, there's a lot of them, the 80% kind of death thing. But do you know that way that they make comebacks and stuff like that, like Rowdy Roddy Piper like
I don't
appeared
think
years ago
Viscera's
and stuff.
making
I know, but I wasn't saying that. But like Rowdy Roddy Piper, like kind of made a comeback kind of thing.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
he would appear in like special things, and then so did like Shawn Michaels and stuff like that. Like what if like, and they're obviously for their generation they're huge characters, and like Hulk and stuff like that. You know what I mean? But what if about like 20 years down the line? Like you've got fucking like all the big names are backing it like as comebacks. Like you've got Stone Cold and The Rock and Kane and fucking Undertaker somehow still there.
No, do you know what I mean? It'll be like way in the future. It'll be the ones that come back. It'll be like Randy Orton and John Cena. It's like, oh my god, John Cena comes back. And everyone still won't care. They will.
I know.
But it's weird actually because there's so many wrestlers that have died over the years because of you know these problems that I've actually become quite desensitized to it. Like,
Just wrestlers dying.
Yeah, like I'll hear about a wrestler died, and I'm just kind of like, well, you know, the first time that when you start hearing all this wrestler dies, you're like, fuck, that's crazy, you know, because I'm just watching them on like TV, and then it just happens so much that now I'm just gonna like Hazel woke me up. Oh, apparently Viscera died. I'm like, oh, okay.
Like she's not obviously sensitive to it because she's like losing sleep over
she
it.
doesn't know who they are.
She's like, fucking wake up, son, wake up. Viscera's dead. You're like, another one. Turn back over.
She thinks, oh, wrestlers died. I'll be interested. And I mean, you know, I guess it's a shame.
I thought the same thing, Sam.
But you know, I don't know. I suppose.
And Macho Man Randy Savage, he had that. Did he not die in a car crash?
Oh, there was a weird thing about that. No, supposedly he was in a car, but I think they linked it to some sort of heart failure.
Oh, right.
That then I don't know if the car crashed, but I think they linked it to heart failure. I'm not really sure.
Oh,
I feel stupid whenever we talk about stuff that I'm not really sure about, because I feel like people are expecting some sort of authority on this, you know. Like they'll go Google and be like, he didn't die in a fucking car crash.
I know.
This fucking guy in the pot, gets his facts right.
You're not Wikipedia.
No.
I tell you about ages ago. I seen something on Facebook. Somebody posted like fucking Ric Flair's dead. I don't know if I told you about this. I think I told a lot of people when I seen it. They're like, Ric Flair's dead. And I was like, fucking Ric Flair's dead, right? I went and looked it up and like put in the date and all that kind of stuff, and like nothing came up. And I was like, surely something would come up. But something else came up about this death like a couple of years ago. I was like, what the fuck's this? And I went in, and apparently like Ric Flair had died like years before this had happened. Like this was like last year I heard this rumour about Ric Flair dying. I was like, fucking Ric Flair. So I looked up, and then it was like, oh, like in 2009 Ric Flair found dead in a hotel room, and I was like, what? He's not dead, right? So I fucking like looked into it. There was like loads of Ric Flair death conspiracies.
Aye.
And I was like, such a fucking weird thing that like he's just plagued by death. Like that's his thing. We did it off our phone, so we recorded it via a phone, and we just went basically and sat in the car and recorded it. And now we're here, and we've got gadgets and gizmos left and right. There's a mixing desk sitting next to me. I've got a webcam pointed at me with a light on it, and I can see us on the computer. We've got iPads, we've got cables, we've got headphones, we've got mics.
Yeah, it's a nice little setup.
Oh, yeah, I know. But it's still weird that thing of me sitting across from
it's
somebody.
a different experience from just recording your voice into a phone. The other thing as well is, with your podcast you were putting up, it wasn't. I don't think it was live, was it?
No, it was just just up to iTunes.
This is like a bit of a different sort of feeling, I imagine, because this is, as we say, this is live and people can message in. I do hope people do start to message in. Like I think the Twitter will be good. Like we've got no followers on Twitter, like literally 3. So because I think the Facebook thing's very like me and you are personally sharing it. So everybody's like, oh, like Sam and Paul are doing a podcast, so they see it and they like it and that. Share it, by the way. Nobody shared it. The thing is, though, I don't know. I mean, obviously Twitter's popular, but I never used Twitter.
No, neither did I.
No,
I've no fascination with it.
I actually found it quite hard to kind of get to grips with.
Sorry, that's distracting me.
But no, I find Twitter kind of confusing. I'm not very good at it, so I don't blame people for not following us on Twitter.
Aye, I think it's good in the sense of like, if you've got a voice, it's easy to just say things and it goes out to a lot of people. But if you're like speaking to like not a lot of people, like what, like I had my own personal one and I don't use it anymore. There's like, I'm like, it's just the same as Facebook in a sense, but except you're limited in what you can say, and that fucking hashtag thing annoys me, Sam. That just annoys. See when people say it. Why?
I saw one on today on the news. Someone said one. I can't remember. It was some really cheesy, like just dropped it into conversation, but it was like on the news, like
Like a newsreader, like
Yeah.
somebody they were interviewing.
Yeah, it was something like they were talking about the Brit Awards or the music thing.
Aye.
And they were talking about One Direction or something, and they said #awkward or something like that.
Aye,
and I'm like,
horrible.
on the fucking news,
Aye.
and it's like, that's not a real thing. People aren't going to go,
And like
oh,
real
yeah.
news.
Yeah, it was on. It was Sky, I think it was Sky News.
Fucking hell. Like, see, that's bad when you see something like that. It annoys me. Like you know that E News, like E Entertainment News. Like they're all #mental.
No, it's fair enough if it's like, I mean, if you're advertising something or like the big debate shows will have, like, you know, if you want to join in the conversation, go to Twitter and #whatever, and you can tweet us and all that stuff. That's fair enough, because that's you're engaging your audience and all that stuff, and that makes sense. But using it as a sort of you know, #awkward, like no one's typing #awkward, what's this about One Direction, you know?
I know.
Like, she was just using it as a sort of thing. Now again, that would be alright if it was just sort of I don't know, like on 8 out of 10 cats or
like he's just plagued by death and conspiracies.
Well, there's always, like, you always get these rumours, like, to do with celebrities. Ric Flair, I'll tell you about. I mean, again, sorry, I don't have all my facts in front of me. Supposedly he was in a plane crash, right?
Aye.
There was some sort of accident with the plane anyway, and he was like really badly injured, but he survived. And this is why, if you ever see, for the few people out there that are watching this that actually watch wrestling or are interested in wrestling, if you ever see Ric Flair landing on his back, he always turns to the side. He's always got like a funny way that he lands, and supposedly that's to do with
the plane crash.
I don't want to say he broke his back, or he like, I think he broke something, and he was kind of like, he shouldn't be doing what he's doing. He shouldn't be wrestling.
But even at that age, he shouldn't be wrestling.
Well, yeah,
How old is
even
he?
just at his age, I don't even know, 60, 70.
That's
he must
crazy.
be older.
He can't wrestle now. He won't wrestle now, will he?
I'm not sure. Well, supposedly he retired. I think Shawn Michaels beat him in a retirement match, kind of thing. But then, I mean, this is wrestling. He then went to a different company, and I think he was wrestling there. So,
but then Shawn Michaels must be getting on as well.
It's not like in I don't know, another sport like football, you know, where someone like Messi's going to have his retirement match, and then at the end of the match everyone's applauding for him, and then he goes to fucking a different country or something like that, and he's playing for LA Galaxy, and he comes out and he's like, you know, he's come back, like John Cena.
Fucking really weird.
But the weird thing, like, you have all these people start these rumours about, like, you know, supposedly someone's died and all that stuff. But you see about Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Aye.
So there was a rumour. I keep saying I need to stop that. I keep saying supposedly because I'm worried everyone's going to, like, think everything I'm saying is factual.
Aye.
And criticise me on it. No, but it's Philip Seymour Hoffman. There was a rumour started about him having died.
Right.
And it was like a week before he actually did die.
Really?
And so there was this rumour, and everyone's like, fucking hell, you know. And I remember when he actually did die, I was on Facebook, and like people were posting things and writing like hoax, you know, because a couple of days before it was a hoax.
Really? I know, I missed that.
Whereas then he actually died, but people still thought it was the hoax.
I missed that, Sam. I never knew that.
Yeah, kind of crazy.
That'd be quite weird, eh?
It was quite weird.
I keep saying that as well. That was quite weird.
What was the other thing? No, I was trying to have a look through the news to see if there was anything that I could sort of bring up to you, but I didn't really have much time today. And but I did see one thing. Edward Snowden,
the WikiLeaks guy.
No. Edward Snowden is the guy that he leaked all the documents on the PRISM program. I think it's called PRISM program.
No.
It's the NSA.
Right.
How they're